I call the City of Pahokee City Commission meeting, regular meeting of Tuesday, January the 24th, 2023 to order at 6:12 p.m.
Say it again.
Mr. Love,
You said January 24th, sir.
you're right, Love. My bad. Tuesday, February the 14th, 2023 to order. Thanks for the correction. May we please stand for the invocation provided by Minister McPherson, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. McPherson, if you would stand at the
Father, we
podium.
just thank you for the opportunity to come into your presence. Father, I ask you to just lead and guide us, Father, but to just give us the divine wisdom to move our city forward, Father, that everything that we done here tonight, let it be done decent and in order. Father, we know that you are a God of order and a God of peace. Father, we ask that whatever be done here, Father, let it be done with a spirit of excellency, and that you will be glorified, and that you will get the glory out of this city commission meeting. In Jesus' name, we just want to thank you and give you all the praise. Let the people say amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Babb,
Present.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Present.
Commissioner Bolden,
Present.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner Perez,
Here.
City Manager,
Here.
City Attorney,
Here.
Acting City Clerk is present.
Now we'll have the addition, if there's any, by the city manager on an emergency basis. Is there any additions to the agenda?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll move to our public comments, public service announcements, presentation, proclamation, if any. This is a part of the agenda that allow the public to comment and make comments to the commission or to the general public. 3 minutes, please. When you come before the mic, please state your name and your address for the record.
Approval of the agenda.
Before we get into our public comments, we're going to do the approval of the agenda. City Commission haven't had the agenda, no additions added. What is your pleasure?
Remember, I moved that we would accept the agenda for tonight's meeting, February 14th, 2023.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Bolden for the approval of the agenda as presented. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez, and Mayor Babb.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Next on the agenda would be our public comments, public service announcement, presentation, proclamation, if any. This is the part of the agenda that allow the public to make public comments. We're going to ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes. And when you speak, please give your name and your address. City Clerk, at this time, do we have any public service comment cards completed?
Yes, sir. The first person is Dorothy Williamson.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dorothy Williamson. I live at 223 South Barfield Highway. I've been living in Pahokee all my life. The highway that they building, they working on, Mr. Babb. I have so many, I know you said 3 minutes. I don't try to get into politics, but it's really irritating me how long they taking to fix the road. They take their road, Mayor, like it's 95. Last week, it was like the Wild Wild West. You see dust flying everywhere. Every other day, I have to go out there and wash my car. So I had talked to one of the workers, and I asked him, I said, well, what taking y'all so long to do the road? He told me, said some of the guys, they have to be over there in Palm Beach. But lately, behind I stay right in front of the old hospital, lately you just only been seeing like 2 guys out there working. So back here last week, I asked him, I said, why it taking so long? These the words that he told me, Mr. Babb. The peoples in Palm Beach pay more taxes than the peoples over here. I can't say what I said to him, but I told him that's not right. I told him, I said, because if this for him would have never happened in Palm Beach, it won't take y'all this long to do this road. Mayor Babb, they don't water the road down like they're supposed to. When they first began it, they had a big old tank. Now the tank's so small, it's not doing nothing. And the dust is real bad. The dust getting all in your house, on your paint, on your house, on your cars. I have to wash my cars. It done faded because of the dust. So he told me be in 2024. I told him, I said, okay then, but his last words was, the peoples in Palm Beach pay more taxes than the peoples over here. And that's what he said, Mr. Babb. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. We'll certainly follow up with the contractors. That project at Barfield Highway is a year project. It's from 1 year, 365 days. We understand the inconvenience it's causing our residents. We also have requested that the grounds to be watered daily each day they do work out there. So we'll definitely follow up. We have also asked the contractor to provide updates for us on a quarterly basis. I think they're here tonight too, so they'll be able to address some of those concerns. That it's unfortunate the worker made that comment about, you know, we don't pay as much tax as those in West Palm. So I think the supervisor's here and he probably will address that, and at least talk with that worker, address that issue for you. Thank you. Any additional comments?
The next person is Annie Eiffel.
Good evening, everyone. Annie Eiffel, Healthier Glades, working remotely right now in Belglade. So first of all, good evening, everyone. Tonight I'm here, I'm going to be brief. Just want to talk about 2 things. I will be coming back at your next commission meeting to talk a little bit about our Let's Move campaign and our partnership with the City of Pahokee Parks and Recreation. We're going to be hosting some physical fitness activities at Parks and Rec for the month of March to promote our Let's Move campaign. Tonight I want to talk a little bit about one of our mini grants with Dr. Jenga Oglesby-Brewin Empower Healthcare. On February 25th, she is going to be hosting a Walking in Your Joy Despite Diabetes event, and this is an event that's in partnership with the Diabetes Coalition of Palm Beach County. And what they're going to be doing is providing diabetes screenings as well as circulation screenings. And so for those who don't know, anybody who is dealing with diabetes, an issue that does affect us is our circulation, neuropathy, and all those other things. So with the mini grant that they got from Healthier Glades, they're going to be able to provide free circulation screenings as well as free A1C diabetes screenings. And that's going to be February 25th. It's going to be here in the city of Pahokee. We are working to finalize the location for the event. We had some situations that we have to move some things around, but as soon as we get that information, we'll make sure we get that information out to you guys. So I just want to make sure you were aware of that, and that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person is Olitha Kynes Sobers.
Hi, my name is Olitha Kynes Sobers. I reside at 290 Parkview Court, Pahokee. The last meeting I came to, I had some concerns about East Lake Village, was the cane field. I really appreciate you all sending Evan and his crew out there to try to cut the cane down, but it was full of waltzes. And the waltzes cover him tremendously. He got ate up by waltzes. I know that my daughter said that they throw gas on it and came out there, I think, one day last week and sprayed Roundup on it. So I think by all that being sprayed on the cane, I think the waltzes should be gone by now. So if there's another concern, okay, there are 2 cane fields in East Lake Village. I had forgot about the first one. When you first come into East Lake Village, you're looking right at another cane field. Cane field should not be sitting in the middle of a residence, for number 1. Okay, over there by the cane field, by the canal, across from my house, by Miss McCray house, where they give up the residents, you know, where they can dump furniture or whatever they add. The hole is so tremendous. It's a big hole full of water. That's a concern for me because a child can fall over in that hole and drown. It's full of water. Also, we have several houses out there. The houses are falling down by themselves. One house, the whole side don't fell off. The other house, the whole back don't fell off. And you can barely see some of the houses because the trees don't cover the houses. And our property value has gone down because of all that stuff going on out in East Lake Village. So my question is, when will I seen that the city, the code enforcement, they did go out. I seen the notices on the door, but those houses has been there for too many years. So I feel like those houses should have been torn down years ago. All this unnecessary stuff that's sitting out there, regular stuff, houses growing, falling down, trees growing up over the houses, cane fields in the community. Our property value has dropped tremendously. It went down. So can someone please tell me when is this stuff gonna be cleaned up?
I'll agree with some of the comments you've made. Certainly, those dealing with the conditions of this city in certain parts of our community. And we're certainly going to have the city manager take a very close look at that and put some type of plan of action to address those concerns. I hope that the commission as a whole is behind this as a priority, that we need to have our city look a little more better than what it's looking. Not saying it's looking so bad, but it's certainly got some work to do. Have commented on that several times, and you know, I even got to the point where I was told I wanted a rich Carlton in the city, and that's not the case, but I do want a beautiful city and want it to be addressed.
And I appreciate you for answering my question. Thank you. Y'all have a nice day.
What was your address again?
290, no, the address out there is 401 North Coconut Road. And then the first cane field is sitting on South Coconut. When you first coming in, you're looking right at the cane field. Then when you go down to North Coconut, there's another cane field sitting down there. Okay, thank you, Ms.
The next person is Everett McPherson.
Good evening, Commissioner. Evan McPherson, 155 North Green Star, Pahokee. Just a few concerns as a concerned citizen. I'm interested in our financial report and the annexation of Friend Village and Paget Island. And the reason I'm bringing this up, so many times we see things come up in the city commission meeting and we never go back and address them until months later when somebody else brings them up. I think a good suggestion, or just a suggestion from me, when an item is brought up in the commissioner's report, the mayor's report, or the city manager's report, at the next meeting, let's try to have some follow-up so the citizens will know, so we can be transparent. The citizens will know where we stand and where we're going with that. And just another thing, all the complaints that I hear about the residents getting their houses, cane fields and different things being cleaned up. Just a suggestion, I think we need to do a survey of our city, get a punch list, and we can assign our staff. They can have weekly or daily tasks. That way these things don't get behind, and then we constantly go and putting out this fire. Then somebody brings something up else at the next meeting, we putting out that fire. So we can be a little bit organized, and that's all I have to say.
The next person is Barbara Brown.
Good evening. I'm Barbara Brown, 1535 Reverend Jesse Biggs Boulevard. I came up here before because I'm very concerned about the park out there for the kids. And when I got home, I thought about when that little strip of park was built, there was only 3 streets out there. Now, there's a whole nother city out there. So there's no way that little strip is gonna be enough space for all the kids that's there now. I remember Ms. Mervin saying something about demucking. I don't know like what that is, what it consists of, but I don't see why the lot next to that can't be purchased or something to make that park bigger for our kids. We out in the middle of nowhere with nothing for them to do.
Yeah.
You know, so I really think that needs to be looked at and corrected. I also have a problem with Miss Mervin where she sits at. I would like for her to take her rightful seat up there so we can see her face, because a lot of times it looks like she's looking that way and smirking from where we are. So I would like for her to look straight at us like all the rest of you all. That's another thing. And our officer bike over here where I remember him being, you know, I don't know why it changed, but that would make a world of difference for me. You know, and I'm still concerned about the offer money and what are you guys gonna do, because I do need help. I'm a homeowner, I do need help. So that's my concern. Those are my concerns.
Okay. Let me just quickly answer that one of the concern in the park.
Yeah.
We've been talking with a homeowner, a landowner, about swapping or switching the land, because that parcel that you mentioned is pretty small, but that's something that the city owns. A lot of times people don't want to sell their land or don't want to sell their houses, so it's sometimes out of our control. So we're going to try to work with what we have. And the demucking part is it's demucking muck and putting sand in other fields, so when you put the equipment, it don't sink. The ground is solid. It's just like demucking for a home. You got to build a foundation, a base there to be able to have adequate play equipment on that particular property. But we will continue to pursue possible trying to purchase some land out there to create a park. But right now, that's on the site that we have available in that area.
And that would be the safest place for the kids to play on the back. So, thank you.
Do you know how deep you have to demarc?
For playground equipment, I'm not sure. Mr. Carlos, do you know how deep they have to dig to demuck for maybe a playground equipment, playground area?
I'm not sure. I don't want to make a comment and then it's not exactly right. But
Okay.
I'll find out and I can bring it back
Okay.
for next.
The next person is Ida McPringle.
Y'all got to give me an extra minute and I can get my Take your time, mother, please. I am. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Ida M. Pringle. My address is 316 Kismet Avenue, right down the road from Vice Mayor Tasha Mervin. Praise God. Now, my first concern, that she just had me a paper about the opera money.
This is for Mr.
I didn't know nothing about no opera money. Girl, you stay right down the street from me. I had to hear from somewhere else. And I also am concerned about, I don't live on Barfield, but I had a young man doing some work for me. So he had need to go to Mr. George's shop to get a part. And he asked me would I take him, and I didn't know the road was still tore up like that. And I just got my car clean Sunday morning. Somebody need to pay me. Oh, these young men, I went up to $30 to get my car washed. And I didn't carry him all the way to George. I put him out by the funeral home, told him to walk. And I did that, 'cause I ain't gonna tell you how my car would have looked. And you know what? And Mayor Bell, Commissioner Bowling, Vice Commissioner, whatever you is, y'all just, I packed the lunch and voted y'all three in. I sat there all day. And y'all talking about what you gonna do when you get in these seats? Y'all ain't heard up. Y'all, nuh-uh, that's not right. And y'all let Mr. Lucas, I just find out who you were. You don't even live around here. You don't know nothing about Pahokee. And you want to come in and take over. And I see y'all be celebrating, decorating a tree, and it ain't be all that. And then, praise God, and Mayor Bells, I hear you be all on Facebook. You sure talking about what something else you be talking about, the 100-year Pahokee. I've been here all my life. And we got 2 signal lights, more than 100 years. 2 signal lights.
One.
We got 2.
One.
2. By the bank and on Barfield Highway.
Oh, you will too.
I'm older than you are.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm older than you. And that don't make sense. You know, 'cause I voted for y'all, thought y'all were going to do what you say. No, y'all haven't. Y'all done let us down, stuck us in the bank. But I'm going to do just like Michael Jackson. I'm going to do the moonwalk on y'all. You won't stick no knife in my back. I'm going to walk backwards. 'Cause that don't make sense. And Mr. Lucas, you looking at me like you ain't seen nothing pretty this year. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Oh, did I say something about the opera money?
Yeah, that's the first thing.
Oh. Well, when I get my application, where I go? City Hall?
They ain't gonna have no application.
Yeah, we'll announce that hopefully tonight about the application when the opera money would be beginning to be dispersed.
Hold this phone.
The last comment card, Robert Love.
I was up, 2638 Gator. People, when I come up here, it's not a show. I don't know what make people think it's a show when I get up here. I be serious as cancer. I be serious about this little town called Pahokee. I don't know what make people want to throw the serious people out of the meeting. But when it comes to talking about the finance report, I see they passed out some paper talking about opera money. Them ain't nothing but some lies in y'all face if you read them. I told them don't hand me them lies. I've been getting numbers ever since they talked about opera money. When they go to talking about Barfield Highway, I was down there the other day. It's a shame. People who stay on Barfield Highway need to file a class action lawsuit against the city of Pahokee and see about them washing their cars, washing their house, doing everything what it taking 2 or 3 years to do with a road. That's what they need to do. Cause y'all ain't trying to do nothing. 2 people out there a day, and I know just like I stay in West Palm Beach and come over here and find 2 people working on the road. 1 person working on the road. It ain't just me. Everybody here can tell you how many people work on Barfield Highway. Can anybody else vouch for it? Yes, everybody in here. Barfield Highway should have been finished. Ranger done got on that road there and done did a sidewalk all the way through town. And I know y'all see it. But why Barfield Highway look like that? Cause when Chandler was here, y'all just hired them, what you call them? How many more minutes? Oh, I got plenty of time. When Chandler was here, y'all hired them, I can't have a name for people when you hire them and then they don't be qualified. You got people out there don't even have a shirt on who their company is. You hire somebody, you could have hired me and I'd have been through with Barfield Highway. I would have been through with Barfield Highway by now. And the other thing, y'all need to go by that place. The re-entry place, his people still live there. His children still go there. Just hang up on him. I'll get them back. His people still live there. I got there Saturday. I got the little boy on my live. Y'all go to my live. I know y'all done been there anyway because y'all watch my live like it's a soap opera. I always say that. Mr. Lucas, you hooked on it. But y'all watch my live. I got the little boy up to the door. And I say, what you do? He say, this a good man. Who told the little boy to say this a good man? Somebody in there told him to say this a good man. And I say, what you doing here? He say, I'm here to buy some toys. He done turned from a re-entry place to a toy store. And them felonies would stay there. Them felonies would live in there. Y'all need to go check on them felonies would live in there. Because the last time I was here, and Mervin was talking about felonies can live anywhere. Felonies are charges. Felons live there. Felons. Convicted felons would live there. If it's anybody.
They learn those little kids inside.
They luring them little kids with some toys. But you got some, but y'all gonna sit up there and act like nobody knows about it until something happens. When something happens, it gonna be y'all problem. Do y'all hear me? I'm gonna see if y'all gonna address that. I ain't gonna talk about Apple money, cause I know that's the big lie y'all gonna tell.
They got a whole shed full of toys.
A whole shed.
Luring them little kids in there.
I got pictures of it. Now y'all throw that out there. Throw that out there.
Yes, they
Because we trying to find out why they still here. Why they still in there? Why is a stove down? Kids in there shop.
Any additional comments, cards?
No, sir.
City Clerk, thank you, ma'am.
Ain't nobody else around here. Y'all need to answer. Thank y'all. I'll be asking hard questions.
Next on the agenda is our consent agenda, which consists of the January 24th, 2023 regular meeting minutes. City Commission, if there's no need to pull this for the regular discussion, I'll entertain a motion for the adoption of our consent agenda item.
Mayor, I move that we would accept the consent agenda January 24th, 2023 regular meeting minutes.
Second.
It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly seconded by Commissioner Bolden for the acceptance of the consent agenda item, which consists of our January 24th, 2023 regular minutes meeting. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez, Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Next on our agenda is our public hearings and or ordinance. We have the first ordinance 2023-01, City Attorney.
Yes, Mr.
Old business, the updates, we have several contractors in the audience.
Okay.
Unless you want to.
No, that's fine. We'll move to our old business. I apologize for that. The updates, city projects, city manager.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Adams?
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm here to give an update on the city projects. And I'm going to start, I have our contractors with us tonight. So I'm going to start with Eastlake Village. Eastlake Village, I have MDO, who is the CEI contractor for Eastlake Village. Marcos?
Yes, ma'am. All right, it's been a while, and I'll repeat, I'm Marcos Montstioka. I'm with MDO Engineering, been the president. I'll say I'm proudly been serving the city of Belle Glade now since 2012, in and out of projects. So I appreciate your business, one, and two, again, I'm one of those guys that's grown and lived around the lake my entire life, so I appreciate that. A little thing, and I don't know where to go with Eastlake, but kind of just give you a little background. I think would be the easiest to bring you up to speed where we are now. We know that there was a grant awarded with DEP. We did go through the process, go through and give an award and a bid. There was about a year and a half, just shy of 2 years, where the project was on hiatus. Now I can say that I continued doing inspections. Contractor was on hold. I can tell you the contractor and I both We're just paid now, so after a year and a half, we were just paid for previous invoices. So the project was on hold for a while. Now everything's kind of back up and running. There's been new invoices put out there, new contracts to go forward to continue the work. So the delay has kind of been back and forth, but everybody's sitting in a good spot now to continue forward. We're going to go through and continue. We identified a lot of areas to fix the drainage. We got some problems. I don't think anybody in this audience nor up there is going to disagree. We have some problems there. We're going to fix the inlet tops. That was the first thing, because right now you could wreck your car, flip it, whatnot, just with the inlets. So we're working on, one of the change of scopes was that to go through was to fix the inlets. The other was to clean out those ditches. I mean, when we call demucking, we go through and clean the ditch bottoms out. It's that soft, nasty stuff. It's not typical muck. It's just those soft, nasty items we're going to pull out of there and clean those ditches. So that's on the radar as well. Putting in the little crosswalk there that connects back to the east. And again, at the end of the day, we're really happy about it, but we're able to get the monies and the dollars to do the roadway to redo 7th. So there's a lot of things going on in the project. Right now, obviously, it's stalled. The contractor initially cleaned it out, and then we stopped for a year and a half. So we're just gathering back steam from where we were. Unfortunately, and this is what's difficult about these grants, these are reimbursement grants. There are dollars available. It's just we have to spend the money first before the contractors and the engineers get paid. So that's where we are now. So it seems like we're back on track. I'm excited to say we're back on track. I look forward to continue working here. It's one of those things I really appreciate you guys. And I think we're in a good spot to keep moving forward and even do a couple more drainage projects. And that's the only project I'm working on with the city. So anything else is not me, but that one is me.
I have questions when.
Okay. And the drainage canals there at East Beach, we did have to coordinate that with EAA because we do want to do some cleaning of those canals. We've done initial cleanings already. Those canals are controlled by the EAA, which are Everglades agricultural area. So we're kind of limited on what we can do from a water level standpoint. But we are working with them. They've been very good in assisting us in continuing the drainage and connections. There has been a garbage issue, so we're going to do a little structure there, whatnot, some rocks to kind of hold they're concerned about the garbage going out. So we're going to work with them to make sure that does not continue to be an issue. So a couple of minor items that we can fix on the fly with engineering works out really well. So I'm making sure I'm caught up. I've got you caught up. If there's any questions, like I said, I've no issue. By all means, hit me.
Yeah. So you are the engineer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when did this project first came to you? When did you first get it?
It's been, 2.5 years ago that the project was awarded?
Years, 17, 18, 19?
2.5 years ago, so 2020, roughly 2020, project was awarded. We did design. We were going forward, I think it was 2021, where we were basically in the middle to do a change of scope and whatnot. We submitted invoices and then it stopped. So again, if you're not paying invoices to contractors and engineers, typically we don't work. So then it was literally on a hiatus for about a year and a half. I've been coming by because I drive through here anyway, so I'll come by, still go regular doing inspection. I mean, everybody sees my big truck. I've been driving the same vehicle since 2008. So same truck drives through. I just check on it, make sure, see what's going on, and they keep going. Again, that's just more of a free of charge thing.
Excuse me, man, because you're talking kind of
I'm sorry.
Before you get going, I like to, stop you in different.
Okay.
You said that you got the design in 2020.
Yes.
And you had a change in order and you didn't get paid.
Yes, ma'am. That was back in 2020. 2021 was the last invoice. Yes, ma'am.
And this is East Lake, FDEP project that Riobac has.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Those are our contractors.
Okay, so Riobac is your contractor, and you started the design in 2020, you said.
Well, the design was completed in 2020. The bid to award was, I think, done in 2021. I did not check the dates. That I would have to ask. But I know it was a year and a half the project sat idle. Trust me, my wife is the vice president of my company, and she's the one that handles all the dollars. So she reminds me how long it was. I just didn't remember, but I know it was a year and a half that it was on hiatus.
Okay, so from the original design that you turned in, you had a change in work order.
Yes, ma'am. The original design called for an investigation of a lot of what I discussed, the inlet tops and those drainage structures that we knew we wanted to go through, look at the pipes, clean the pipes, see if they would stay intact. And we knew the change order was pending based on that design and exploration. So we knew going in there, we were gonna have some change orders come back off the bat. We knew that. So that wasn't a surprise when we got the cost to fix the tops. And those of you who've driven through there, you can go from 7th or on the way back, you can see those inlets, how they're broken in or completely broken off. The edge of pavements are broken. I mean, the pipes are not in too bad condition, so we're gonna keep the pipes, but we're gonna fix the boxes, those big drainage boxes.
Okay, because the FDEP award calls for changing of the pipes.
Yes, ma'am. Now you're talking about the pipes along 7th. Those are the pipes, we are changing those as well. We are changing those those pipes along 7th as well. That crossing there, the sidewalk, and a lot of children use that to go back and forth. That's gonna get redone. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and
Yes, ma'am.
2021, do you remember when it was that you have paid?
We just got paid here recently. I want to say within 2 or 3 months ago, we were just made whole. So we've been made whole. That's why we've come back with new proposals. Hey, here's to start the work again.
So, okay, you, can I get your contact? I would like to see your original, design, your changing work order, when you first submitted it and when you got paid.
Not a problem. I've submitted it once before. Again, being a community partner again, you know, even my contract, I could have charged 18% for a year and a half, and I don't do that. You guys have worked with me the whole time, so I'll give you everything you need, but again, it's pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna, I just gotta ask the wife for it. Being honest.
No problem. And, do you know how much the work order was for?
My work order, the redesign, I think was $28,000 for this, to start now to finish. I don't remember the contractors. I'd have to look at what the new updated work order is now for them. I remember reviewing it. We just did, I think, a $35,000 draw now to continue the work again. But I don't remember what the overall.
Originally, you got paid 28 and now you bill for 35?
Yes, ma'am. Because I've been continuing doing the work for the past year and a half. Like I said, we just hadn't gotten paid.
And what, it was just drawings that you were doing?
Okay. So hold on. Sorry.
I'm sorry, if I may, the work order is an amendment to his contract, so it has not been presented to commission. I have not sent that as of yet to the city attorney. So you have not received that as of yet, and no payment for that has been made.
No, he just got paid for the 28.
No, I got paid for the year and a half ago. Yes, ma'am.
Any additional questions? I have one or two that I need to ask too.
Go ahead.
The new anticipated completion date now, when do you anticipate this project being completed?
The goal was, we brought the contractor on board again, and everybody was squared up now, was to be done before wet season. So we're looking at May, June from now. And again, it's hopeful as long as we continue the process, it looks to be done before
So
that.
next year, May or June?
No, like this year, May or June. We literally left in the middle of the project, and I get, you know, everybody understands there were some items going on, but we left in the middle of the project to come back, so.
Just want to be clear, I'm already aware of the answer, but would there be fencing around the canal?
As of right now, we had talked about putting fence there. We have not given the contractor a change of scope to do the fence yet. If it's something that the city would like to go after, yes. My concern is just a maintenance standpoint, and that'd be at the, you know.
In the original, if I'm not mistaken, in the original contract called it for fencing around the canal so that those debris and things won't go back in the canal. At least it would have some type of barrier.
Yes, sir. We had talked about.
I see Ms. Adams shaking her head. You're saying no, it's.
No, we had asked, it was one of those change orders, we had asked them to give us a price for it. We hadn't done it. Even at that time, we looked at a price not to leave the canal open and to pipe it. And that was it's super expensive to go that route. So we didn't put fencing there. My concern, and I can work with the city, I mean, I do this quite a bit, but I can work with the city to kind of develop a plan or something with Public Works so they can get in there and clean it out a little bit easier than what was there before.
Okay. And my last comment is more of a statement. I know we still have commissioner concern about the delay of this project. I'm just, for the record, This project was mainly delayed because of the new administration that came in about a year and a half ago. They wanted a clean house. Ms. Adams' job was in jeopardy, the interim city manager job was in jeopardy, the finance director job was in jeopardy, and all the key staff. So that's why this project was delayed. Thank you.
I have a comment on that. I have a comment on that, please. Okay, because by the time that the city manager, Greg Williams, came to work for the city, Realback had already walked off the job site. So that had nothing to do with the new administration, and everybody's job was in jeopardy because they were not doing their job. And nobody was fired, they left. Because when we started asking questions, everybody dipped. So that's what I gotta say. It's time to quit blaming everything on the previous administration. Because all these contracts have been here from 17, 19, so don't blame it on.
Yes,
I know when the interim city manager came, I think it was Jocelyn at the time, she gave us a complete list of payment. So what the contractor is saying that a year and a half or so payment was not made, it's not a false statement, it's all documented to where, and I even asked Mr. Greg Thompson, it's not Williams, Greg Thompson, for the payments, and he had not submitted not one payment from the time he sat in the seat, and it's documented, and where it could be given, because it was given to us prior. But the payment was not made for a year and a half because there was no one in economic development. When they were submitting their payouts, they were being ignored. And when Ms. Adams came on as the interim city manager, she came with the list of every payment that was being paid. That's documented.
Year and a half. Year and a half. He
That's-
was only
that's-
there 6 months.
That's not what I said.
She only
That's not what I
was there
said.
for 6 months.
That's not what I
And
said.
he gave you a list. You asked for all the invoices that had been paid, and
And there was
gave
none.
He gave you a list, and he gave all of us.
Mayor Bad, we go ahead, but there was no payment being
We're gonna
made.
move forward.
And keep lying.
It's not a lie.
No, it's not a lie.
Next, Ms. Adams.
I just have one thing
It's
for
documented.
MDO to add. MDO, your last payment that you received was the summer of,
The one before,
before I left.
yeah, it was 2021. The summer of
He
2021.
tell you right there it wasn't paid.
Yeah, it was summer of 2021.
Summer of 2021.
2021?
And my last day was August the 19th.
They tell you it wasn't paid.
2021.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I had paid them before I left.
Did you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was working with John Jeline before then, until, it was till 2021, and we were actually processing, oh, sorry, let me back up here. That we were working and processing the last ones, and then, again, cities have issues, I don't get into that, I just do my job. I got enough problems outside of work. So I just do my job, and then, again, when the payment stops, I still drive through here. So it doesn't stop me from still coming to do my job and still helping. And I spoke to every administrator between, from then to now, just to say, hey, where were we? So I'm just happy to see the project start going back again. So.
Thank you, Marcus. MDO. The next project where we will speak of is from 2SBW, and so they will speak on both the sidewalks, phase 1 of the sidewalks for Begonia Drive, as well as the project 647 for the demolition of the old house. And I have Javen, who is the project manager for 2SBW.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, all of you in your respectful places, City Manager, City Attorney. Happy Love Day to each of you and those of you in the audience. I'm Javen Walker, President of 2SBW and Associates. The first project is Begonia Sidewalk Project, which has been completed. I think that was maybe about two weeks ago. I'm not sure as it relates to the completion date on that. So I just want to come by and let you know that that project has been done and complete. The second project that we were fortunate enough to be awarded as well was demolition of Begonia Drive. Bacon Point, 647 Bacon Point Road. We're in the process of completing that project. Unfortunately, I thought it would have been done by now, even though we are way within the timeline to get it done. But right now, we're having to drive the debris to West Palm Beach. We've been told that that they won't accept the material here in the Glaze area, and 2 times we tried to dump it. The first time they told us that it was 24,000 tons. We drove it to West Palm Beach, it was only 14,000 tons. The next time it was 20-some thousand tons, and we drove it to West Palm Beach, and it was 10,000 tons less as well. So unfortunately, right now, we're having to transport the debris from here all the way over to West Palm Beach. So we look to finish this project for you as soon as possible. I suspect it should take us about another 5 or 6 days. In the process of us doing that, we tried to donate the trees that are on the site to the local tree manufacturer here. We did reach out to them, just so you know, to try to preserve your trees, and we were told that we would be contacted, and nobody contacted us back as it relates to wanting the trees. So we'll be cutting them, and we'll be moving them off the site according to your RFP that was set forth before us. I'm here for any questions from any of you as it relates to the projects.
What kind of trees are they? Do any resident might want them or?
No, they're pretty tall.
Okay.
They're palm trees and things like that. A lot of times when we do projects like this, different states may want trees of certain heights, but we wanted to give the opportunity here to the local tree manufacturer in your city as it relates to it.
Okay.
How many trees you talking about?
It's only like 3 or 4 or 5. We do understand that sometimes those trees, as they get so tall, it's different reasons why they don't want them. So we do understand that. We just want to give the opportunity. So I think it may be 5 or 6.
And you talked about transporting the debris. Where did you take the debris that they would accept it?
I don't have the exact name, but whatever the debris is out in this area, I'm not the one that's actually dumping it, so I apologize for not having that name for you, but I can have it given to you.
Appreciate that.
No problem.
Commissioner Bo.
I was going to ask the same question. Who you contacted? What they were, a company in Pahokee?
I don't think the dump is in Pahokee. I think the dump is in Belglade. Yeah. So I don't think there was necessarily any improprieties. I'm just telling you information that was related to me by staff.
The property next to Commissioner Park on Bacon Point Road, you're doing that, right?
Yes, sir.
The house. You're going to remove that tall coconut tree, right?
You have a tree that's over the
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the cause of the delay, and when would you start and bite on that particular project, and when would be the completion date estimate?
We expect to finish the project up in the next 10 days and to be fully complete. Some of the delay was trying to get some paperwork from the city. They sent us an NTP, and just for some reason, the dates and stuff was kind of miscalculated and not right. So we went back to them to ask them to provide the information.
What's NTP?
Notice to proceed.
So that you wanted to proceed and the city was not providing you the
No, it just was some language, just some language that was not there, and we needed that to be done so we can make sure
Did
we
you
protect
have a
us.
bond for the bid?
All
Did you
that
provide a bond?
information was turned in. Yes, ma'am. I don't actually do that. That's done by my staff, but according to the documents that were needed, we provided it. Yes, ma'am.
Well, if that wasn't provided originally, that's why I was asking.
Performance and payment bond, the city has in its possession.
Do you know when it was turned in?
I have to check the dates, but we do have those documents. And the NTP, it was a conflict with the schedule with what we were doing with 2SB.
I'm more interested in the bond, in the
Yeah, I'll
performance
get,
bond.
yes, ma'am. I will
Was
get
the
you
bond with the original application?
Bond was turned in, so with the RFP
Yeah.
requests certain information, and it requests the copy, the insurance information. Once the contractor starts the job, they have
Insurance
to.
is different from the bond.
Yes, once the contractor starts the job, the payment and performance bond has to be submitted. And that payment and performance bond was submitted.
Prior to the starting of the
Yes,
job.
ma'am.
I'm gonna check all the dates on all of them, so, just so that you know.
Okay. Any more questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Good night.
Next, I will have the contractors for Barfield Highway. I have our CEI, Mr. Robert Audette, as well as the project manager, James Washington from Rosso.
Any questions about Barfield Highway? First of all, I would like...
I can't hear you. I can't hardly hear you.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to address the lady that first talked tonight, 223 Barfield, and express publicly my apology on behalf of the project for those words that were really inappropriate when, as I conveyed to you earlier. And the contractor is also made aware of this, and he expresses the same sentiment. That it was inappropriate the way that this was addressed to you. Yeah, sure.
Ms. Lady, what's your name?
Dorothy Williamson.
All right, Ms. Williamson, and good evening, everyone. James Washington, also site development. Yeah, we can talk afterwards, but let me know who it was and what exactly was said, because that's unacceptable. You know, we've been pushing to get everything done out here, even with the powers that may be like going against us trying to get this thing done. But from what I heard, it was something that should have been said, and it's absolutely inappropriate. And that individual is probably just straight up. So when we have that conversation, they'll most likely be out here tomorrow, and I'll make sure that they speak to you. They'll come to your house, however you want to do it.
All right, sir.
I appreciate
I'll be home
that.
because I'm retired, so I'll be home.
Okay. You living the dream.
And can you address her initial concern, which was the dust control, watering?
Yeah. So, yeah, I know that's been an ongoing issue. I've been getting phone calls about it. We've been doing the best we can with the dust control. Our main water truck has been down, and when it got back up, we had to put it on another project. Had no intentions on being out here as long as we have been. So we're kind of scattering stuff together in order to keep things moving the way that it should be. And I know it's been a concern of the community, the way the project has been going. I'm just here to let y'all know that we're doing best we can with what we have to be able to get this thing going. And I know it looks like we're piecemealing. We are, because there are things that we can't do because our hands are tied. That's just us as a contractor. So, yeah, so we'll keep doing the best we can what we have. You got any issues or anything, I can leave my contact number here. Anybody here got a question or issue with anything at all, just let me know.
Hi.
Well,
They ain't got nobody working now.
well, hold up. Now, I do want to say this, like, my role transitioned from being a superintendent / project manager at the beginning of the job. I know some of y'all probably saw me out here often, you know, like, but as it stands now, I'm not out here as much. But if you need anything, let me know. And to your question about hiring, if you got good bodies that can actually work, we'll put them on. I've hired guys out here myself. I think I probably hired like 3 or 4 guys, and some of them actually lived on Barfield Road. So the issue I had with that was they quit. So, and they quit abruptly. So I'm all about the community. I'm all about putting people on as best I can. But, you know, if I help, give me something back. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave me hanging. And that's what's happened when I've hired people on out here.
I need that.
Yes, ma'am.
You the one be doing the hiring or the city?
No, For our job, I'm the project manager. Usually I get their applications, they need applications. I get them an application, I say get it filled out, and, you know, your work experience, you know, all that stuff, and then they get it back to me, I review it. If they legit, I give them a chance. And like I said, I've done that in the past. I haven't had anybody come to me personally and say that they needed a job. But I have been open to it.
What stage you out there? They probably been looking and can't find you.
Well, that's cool. I'll leave my number out. I'll leave my number. Usually I'm only here now.
Just say it, cause I'm on live.
I know. Usually I'm only out here maybe 2 days out the month, and that's when I'm getting ready to process. 2 days out. I'm the project manager. I'm not a superintendent, so I'm not going to be out here all day.
I got it.
But the days that I'm out here, it's usually the days when I'm going to process payouts for the work that's been accomplished throughout that month. But like I said, I'll leave you my number. You want to give me a call. If you know somebody who's trying to get on, you let me know. We'll vet them out. If they can work, then we'll put them on.
Can you say your number right now?
I don't want to put that out there. I don't have everybody call. But if you want to know, I'll give it to you after the fact. I'll give it to you after the fact.
I heard you say this. Say your hands are tied but you couldn't say why your hands are tied.
Well, I wouldn't ask why. So ask me why.
Well, why your hands are tied?
There are things going on. So right now, I'm sure you all know that the project has been very slow moving forward. So there have been a lot of issues that we've encountered throughout the process. Unforeseen conditions. We spoke about it last time I was here briefly. You know, we didn't go into detail. I know y'all see me. I try to be a fly on the wall for the most part. But there have been issues, design issues that we're trying to sort through. We as a contractor can only do so much, you know, when it comes to unforeseen issues.
I can expand upon that.
All right.
So, okay.
Thank you.
So, the critical item of work is putting pipe in the ground. So, last year we had issues with drainage. We had issues with the sanitary sewer. So we have two big change orders, two big change orders and two big revisions that pertain to those design issues that the contractor was mentioning earlier. The revisions are the solutions to those problems, and they have been issued to the contractor, and the next step is to agree upon a price. And the next step is to who foots the bill needs to concur with the cost. Until the contractor has an agreement on costs, he is not moving forward with implementing those changes. And I can understand, you know, until we have an agreed upon price, you don't go ahead with the work. That being said, we've had a coordination meeting or negotiation meeting to close the gap with Palm Beach County and FDOT last week, because Palm Beach County is responsible for the changes pertaining to the sanitary sewer, and FDOT is responsible for funding the changes that pertain to the drainage modifications. We are about to, Palm Beach County we're going to follow up with another meeting tomorrow to finalize the changes for the sanitary sewer, and we're waiting to hear back from FDOT on participation for the costs for the drainage changes that are still pending on the table. This is what is affecting the work between 4th Street and 3rd Street on Barfield Highway. So the contractor did skip over that area south of the project that's paved, that's just about done, and skipped over to beyond 3rd Street to keep moving, but he's done all that he can do until we have these two change orders agreed upon. And they're sizable change orders, and the people or the entities that need to pay those change orders need to give their concurrence, unless the city wants to foot the bill ahead of time and then ask for the money later. So this is hard. This is hard to, it's a hard animal to manage, to get everybody to agree on a price, and but that's what we're working on right now.
I have a question. This is all because of flaws in the original design.
Yes, but we've addressed those flaws. Now it's a question of price.
But it should have been addressed with the
flaws,
original design.
Well, there are always issues with any project.
There's minor issues, but not big issues. This was a total reconstruction, and I keep saying it. If you haven't done any work on a road for 20 years and you're doing a total reconstruction, you know you gotta do it to the code, to today's code. So anybody that's an engineer knows that if you're gonna do it to code, you're doing the road, you gotta know that, you know, what's under it, especially if we knew that we had issues with the drainage and with the sewer, and we had Palm Beach County to pay it. The other thing that I don't understand, if you got two separate jobs, it should have been bidded separately, and if it was gonna be put in one bid, it should have been included, which was not.
If I may,
That is
Commissioner,
my issue.
if I may, Commissioner, I did ask about Palm Beach County as well as contractors and FDOT. Would it have been conducive to have two different contractors out there on one project? And they both said no. You can ask the engineer. Robert is an engineer. To have two separate contractors, even though there's a drainage and road, to have two separate contractors, and he can verify, he's an engineer, that is not conducive
Then
to do.
why wasn't the drainage and the sewer addressed first and then the reconstruction of the road? You could have taken that apart, do the sewer, and then do the road.
Okay, so that I'm going to address, and we answered that
To me,
before.
that's bad management.
Okay, we answered that question before. When the project initially, the design of the project for FDOT, when we received the state agreement for Barfield Highway for the reconstruction, it was just reconstruction.
Yeah.
Palm Beach County, in July, we were about ready, we were finished with the design for reconstruction. Palm Beach County came along on the back end in September, October, and asked to put down water, to put down the drain. Now, had that not taken place, if we would have said no and reconstructed the road, the city would have been responsible for everything that was tore up. So although we had a design, that design had to be redone. And along with that design, you have FDOT that has to approve a total new design for water and the road.
But the
Ms.
water
Adams.
was designed from the county.
Water wasn't designed from
Ms.
the
Adams.
county.
That's not what was said
No,
here.
water, yes,
Ms.
sir, I'm
Adams,
sorry.
thank you for your report.
Read it, ma'am. Read it.
You out of order, ma'am.
I can get out, but you just a disgrace to the city. And I'm done. You have
Thank
to like
you.
better time.
Thank you.
I'm sick of y'all.
Okay.
You just got in the chair.
You out of order, ma'am. We would like for you to leave.
These chairs, we vote y'all in these chairs, we can vote y'all out. Y'all need to go and have a nice night. Some of y'all disgrace to the city. Y'all need to be fighting.
Time to
You
get
get the hell out of the seat. It's sad.
So I want to know if this ain't gonna be 2020.
Mr. Love, Mr. Love. This is not a workshop.
They said we can ask questions. Then y'all say we can ask y'all questions.
Your presentation is done, sir. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Y'all see it right now. Y'all see it. Don't go nowhere. I want to stay here and look at this ignorance. I want to look at this ignorance right here.
You had some last minute stuff.
This is ignorance
Is
at its
that
best.
it? Like,
Yeah, did you have any last minute thing you wanted to add?
I want to
Okay.
add, just to let y'all know, when it comes to the financial portion of it, the city of Pahokee ain't paying no money for this road. I'm just being straight up with y'all. The city of Pahokee is not paying for that road. The money for the road is coming.
They acting like they are. They acting like they are.
So it's a city-owned road, but the funds to construct everything that's going on in that road is coming from Palm Beach County and it's coming from FDOT. So I just, I want to let y'all know that this isn't your tax dollars going into it. Now, with that being said, if there are some issues with the design or like something that DOT or the county feels like they're not going to be responsible for, they may look to the city to foot that bill. So even though you all aren't necessarily paying for it directly out of pocket, you're vested to a certain degree to what's going on with it and the people who are paying. So I ask that y'all keep that in mind with the with everything that's going on right now, and I think that in itself will help ease temperament a little bit within the room when it comes to what's going on out there. But still, your concerns are valid regardless of what contribution the city is paying into this this construction project, because every day you got to ride up and down this road. Every day, you know, so yeah, so
And with all due respect, that the funds for those grants come from taxpayers' money.
I agree.
Whether it's the cities, whether it's the state, whether it's the county, whether it's the government. And our job is to be diligent with those funds and to make sure that whatever the funds are for, that's what we use them for.
I agree, and I didn't say that to say anything different from what you said, because I pay state taxes too. And I look at where my money goes, because, you know, I pay somebody's salary and taxes every year. So that in itself is enough, you know, to be interested or vested in what goes on. So, like I said, I agree with you. I met most of you all here personally, you know, during the jump off meeting or whatnot. So, yeah.
It's gonna be 2024 before the road is open.
Like, it all depends on when these change orders get approved. So we have some outstanding change orders.
So really, he don't know.
I can't speak on what he don't know. I'm talking about what my colleague has spoke on. I can't speak on what he said. All I know is what's going on right here.
Sir.
As far as what my colleague was speaking on,
we got a long
we
agenda.
get approved change orders, then we can go ahead and start back working.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mayor, if I may, I would like for Mr. DeRita to come up and just give an overview of the legislative process and when we receive funding and how that impacts the funding that we get from FDP, FDOT. Mr. DeRita.
Good evening. Tom DeRita. Thank you, Mayor and City Manager. I'll give you an update on what's going on in Tallahassee. One of the things that, after listening to these gentlemen, I have to put 2 cents in on it and say that government is what government is. You can't change the process, and what we try to do is make it a little simpler, especially when we're doing the Tallahassee work. We try to make it a little simpler. So in our position with the city of Pahokee, we've been working for you for 12 or 13 years now. And one of the biggest obstacles we've had in the legislature is what they say to us about the city of Pahokee: are you going to have any consistency? And we need consistency so that
we have a speaker speaking, y'all.
There needs to be consistency, and we've had a lot of city managers and we've had a lot of people and changes. We still have to do our job in Tallahassee. We're under the regulations, and my license is at stake if I don't have authorization from the city to be working for you, which the city manager and I have been talking about to get that in currently, because basically we're not working for the city. We're being paid, but we're not working because we don't have the legal letter in to Tallahassee. We have several projects. We have several projects in right now that have been approved by the House and the Senate, and we have quite a list of projects that and requests that you want to have. And what we're trying to tell you right now is that we can't get all the projects done. It just doesn't work like that. So there are several projects on the list that you've come up with, priority ranking projects. And the Senate just approved the Department of Economic Opportunity, the DEO, has just appropriated $18 million. $18 million for rural communities. Grants are now open for infrastructure and economic development projects. These are not projects that we're going to work on we've already got the projects in that we're working on for you, several projects, okay, that have been approved by the House and the Senate, and now we have to get a vote on it. But these economic projects that are out there will fit some of the monies that you're asking for. So what we're saying to you is we need to be able to present a letter to Tallahassee on these particular projects. And I know the city manager's been working with my partner Jordan to get these letters in. They've got to be in before March. So there's
Can you tell
eight.
us what those projects are? The ones that have been,
Well, you have your entire priority list as projects.
no, not what we want, what you said that's been approved already. What are those projects?
They haven't. They've been approved by our representative and our senator to put them forward to committee. Okay, that doesn't mean that doesn't mean we have those approved and we're going to get the money.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
working to get the money.
Okay, but what are they?
You've got the park, the balance of the park, which is about $500,000, I believe.
For what?
The park that we brought you the check for $250,000 last year. We're looking to finish that off.
$750 for what was that?
The water park?
No, the
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King Park.
So we've already received 200.
I brought you a check for $250,000 last year. So the park.
Where is that money? What account is that money in? Mr. Lucas, what account is that money in?
So what happens is we have to pay and then we get reimbursed.
Right. The check that we brought you was ceremonial. What the city manager is saying, that once you've paid your fair share of what we're doing, it's all matching funds, then you're going to get reimbursed by the state for those amounts of dollars. We're back in to finish that park off. That's one of the things we're back in for this year.
So we only got to 50, but, so we don't know if we're gonna get the rest of the 500.
Well, I have confidence that we've got Senator Harrell has been working with Pahokee. She's worked hard for Pahokee. I believe that with Rick Roth, who is a native of the Glades and a local farmer, I think he's working in our behalf. And our job now is you're going to be coming up to Tallahassee. We're going to go around and talk to all the legislators. And I feel confident that we're going to bring you money back like we have every year.
Okay, is that the only one, or is there any?
No, we've got several projects in right now. Okay, but the ones that I'm concerned with are the ones that are a major opportunity for this city because it's infrastructure dollars. And with the infrastructure dollars that Jordan and the city manager are working on, we need to get those in before March 5th. And those grant dollars is $18 million, which has never been brought forth before for the rural areas. So that's a big deal, and we need to get our fair share here in Pahokee.
But you need a letter from the city manager. You need a letter from the city manager, right?
Mr.
Well,
Little.
the city manager and my Tallahassee partner is working, they're working together to create the projects that we feel, that one of the projects that we think meets it is some of the marina project, okay? Some of those projects, the City Pahokee clean out East Lake Village Canal, wall and fencing, $300,000. That's a project that could fit on this economic, so he is going to work with Jordan. The city manager is going to work with Jordan. You're going to come up with one or two of those projects, and we need to get that in before March 1st.
And if I can clarify, the resource group already has an existing contract with the city. What they have before them is an extension to add to another time to it.
I was asking about the letter.
That's what he was referring to.
Does anybody have any other questions? You got to look at it. We have a great opportunity this year. We don't always get an opportunity where $18 million is put into the rural areas. Now, there are a lot of rural areas. The sooner we get this in, project-wise, the better chance we've got of getting it done.
What is it that we need to do before March the 5th?
Well, they're working on it. It'll get done. I'm sure it'll get done. Can I get a nod, city manager? It's going to get done, right?
It's on the
It's
agenda,
on the
sir.
agenda tonight.
Yeah, okay.
My last question, a quick question. What happened, and I've asked this question before, I think I got some information on it, but what happened last year where the Glades region was totally, for lack of a better word, neglected by the legislation? We didn't get any appropriation last year, Belle Glade, South Bay, or Pahokee. I'm just trying to play defense if we can and make sure that whatever the perception was or whatever the reason was, that we have a game plan to maybe correct that and don't have that same problem this year.
Listen, we're all adults here. What the state is looking for is for Pahokee to stand up, and Pahokee get what they deserve. The only way they're going to get it is we need consistency. We can go to Tallahassee all day long, and if we don't have consistency in management and in a council, we're not going to get any money.
That's right.
It's as simple as that. But we've gotten you money. We've gotten you money for a lot of years. We've gotten good money for you. But we've got to show Tallahassee, and we've got to prove to Senator Harrell that Pahokee is worthy of what we're telling her, and then the money will come down. So we've got to do our part. You have to do your part. We'll do our job. But now you've got a city manager that's working well with us. Let's bring the bacon home.
Image means everything. Because those that are in Tallahassee, they look at this tape. They want to make.
And they see you.
They see you too.
I know it. I make sure.
All right.
That's what you tell about.
Can we finish?
He wasn't saying Jones wasn't looking bad. He didn't say I was looking bad. He said Jones ain't standing up. He didn't say I wasn't standing up.
Thank you. We're good.
He
Appreciate
said
it.
the city. He didn't say nothing about me. Who is the son? The city.
It's a little bit out of order.
Okay, I'm back in.
That's the end of our city updates and that portion of the report.
Yes, sir. And we had a family that still has a person missing that wanted to know if they had a moment or when you guys want to work them in.
We're allowed to come up in a few minutes. Yes, ma'am.
Hi everyone, my name is Shatoria McKay.
Good evening.
I'm quite sure y'all probably have seen my face before. They have seen my face before. This is my second time coming here. I'm talking like some seat. But anyways, I don't ask for much. I'm not here to ask for y'all for no money. I'm here to ask for y'all for help. The city manager, I present my questions to you because you bring everything to him. Just like you showed him that paper and he shook his head looking crazy at me, I paid attention. Mr. Bell, my child is somewhere. It
You're
could
the
be
reason
your
you're
child.
speaking, ma'am.
Okay. It could be your child, yours, or yours. Y'all, we here. Y'all on our table. Y'all was putting them chairs for a reason. I'm not here to ask for no money. You got sources that y'all can give me, and I know y'all do. My son been missing there since September the 20th. On the 20th, it'll be 5 months. I need help. And I'm asking you, it is coming from the bottom of my heart.
What is it that you need from us?
Whatever sources y'all can give, search, anything. PBSO, they're not doing a great job when they're coming down to that. They did one big search and they haven't still did another one. I don't have things like to go in no bushes. I don't have things like to go inside no water. I need help. My child is somebody.
Have you had any update? Do you know the search area?
They told us the search area once. He still keeps saying now, past Canal Point, what it's called? Sandcut area. In the Sandcut area.
So you need help?
I really do, Miss Sarah. Yes, ma'am.
Search party. In Sandcut area?
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Okay.
They say y'all give me no $10, $10 to $20. I don't want no money from you. I need help. Mr. Babs, please.
They can't draw a crowd with
I'm begging you. We're doing the march on Sunday, and I don't know how y'all do with give PBSO to assist, but I'll need the help for that too. Cause Sunday we will be doing the march at 2:30. We're lining up at MLK Park. So
We will appreciate y'all come out.
You said
We already
2:30?
have the news coming out.
2:30 at MLK?
2:30 MLK, yes sir, Sunday.
You know, myself, I understand what you're going through. I've lost 2 sons in 18 months. So I know exactly what you're going through. And I know that probably by now you've lost hope that he's still alive. But I know that you want closure.
That's it. That's
Whatever that is. So I'm pleading, I don't know when you want to start the search. You tell me when, and I will plead to everyone in the community if they could come out, if they could assist, and we could ask PBSO if they could guide us where to start, where to search, and if they need help, you know, we'll all come and be part of the search. Because I knew your son, he was one of my nephews, and very good boy, very respectful, and he had a really good personality.
He didn't deserve that.
No one deserves it. No one deserves it. And you as a mom, I know what you're going through. Because it's like, only if you've been through it,
you don't know how it feels.
You really know how it feels.
I'm gonna be there, son.
Thank you.
I will be there.
But yeah, Mr. Love will put it out, and we'll get other people to put it out, and you know, we just gotta get together. When you wanna start, what day you wanna start, and from that day on, we'll continue.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Don't look for bad.
Have you spoken to PBSO about coming out?
I didn't really talk to them. I just keep asking the same question to the detective, like what areas, because every time I get contact him, he said that they gonna do another search, but he's not saying when. I've been waiting on them. They did one search, that was in October.
To talk to the higher than them, like I'm just saying.
No, not yet.
We was getting the family
Can we get help with you guys?
Yeah. Okay, yes sir.
Yeah, that's it.
And if you need volunteers, you just let us know, and you know, we'll get it going, because we gotta find him. We really have to find him.
If we don't look in this, the first part, if we don't find it, look, seeking you shall find it. If we don't look, we can't find nothing.
Exactly.
And then like she's saying, she come out asking for help for up here. They can't do a crowd with them. You might go to
Mayor Bab, let's we had her do her comments. It's not for the audience, she was doing her comments.
Not for the audience, yeah, you right. You see when that girl got shot in Fort Hill? All the commissioners.
Go ahead, sir.
You have anything else to add?
No, I just here for that purpose only. I just want y'all help. I ain't here to bash nobody. Y'all know I have a good heart. I love everybody, but at the same time, we depend on y'all. So y'all run the city. I need the help. That's all I ask.
You got us.
Thank you.
You got us.
You got this vote. I mean, the career, she done said that. I ain't heard nobody else. I ain't heard nobody else say, you got her. You got me. Anybody else?
Count me in.
That's a shame. I know gun dogs.
Now we're gonna move to our public hearings and ordinance. We have the first ordinance 2023-03, City Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. By way of background, these 3 ordinances that will be on your agenda next are from the Charter Review Commission, and they're being put forward as their recommendations after they met pursuant to the the charter provision requiring them to meet once every 5 years. Ordinance number 2023-01, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, submitting to referendum an amendment to the charter amending section 3.01 entitled Designation to add the city attorney as an additional charter officer, providing for adoption of representations, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date.
City Manager, you want to give a brief explanation and those
Yes, sir.
self-explanatory?
So on page 14 in our agenda packet is Exhibit A that says, with the strike through, the city manager, comma, and the word "and" is struck through, city clerk, and we're adding city attorney as designated as charter officers. That is what we're are talking about regarding this ordinance.
Okay, I have a question.
Before we get in, Ms. Weeks, Attorney Weeks.
Yes, sir.
This considered a hearing where it's going to be open to the public for comments?
The second reading would be a public hearing.
Okay.
Yes.
Just want to make sure. Okay.
Okay, I have,
I'm sorry, Commissioner. Let's get a motion in a second, then we'll open it for questions. If there's a motion on this ordinance?
Well, Mayor Bab, I was going to move to accept ordinance 2023-01. Mayor Bab, I move to accept ordinance 2023-01.
There's a second?
I'll second it.
It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Murphy for the adoption of ordinance 2023-01 on first reading. Call for question, Commissioner Pereira.
yeah, my first question is, you said that this was, brought out by the committee. As far as I know, nobody brought that up. This was the attorney, the one that brought this up.
That is not true. It was actually brought up by former Commissioner Biggs, and it was voted on unanimously. I did not comment on this item, and it's a part of the minutes as backup. I don't know where you got that from, but it's absolutely not true.
Well, we have a committee member.
Yeah.
Is that the way that it went?
No, it was, she's correct, Ms. Biggs did bring it to.
And it was voted unanimously?
Yes, it was.
I attended that meeting, I can concur that.
Okay, and second of all, what is the pros and the cons in you becoming a charter officer for the city of Pahokee?
Ma'am, I didn't ask for it, so the chair is here.
But you are the city attorney,
The
so
chair
what-
is here, and if you have questions about the discussion, you should probably ask the chair to present it. But I did not ask
Okay,
for it.
who's the
I
chair
didn't
of the
lobby for
committee?
it. I didn't talk to anybody about it.
But you are
I'd
the
like to
attorney.
ask the chair, who's the chair of the committee? Okay, what is the pros and the cons?
I have no idea, the pros and cons were not discussed at all.
So how did they come up with this and everybody votes unanimously and nobody knows the pros and the cons to the city? Why was this voted on?
I researched, and what research I found and people I talked to said some municipalities do it, some don't. But now that I've done some more research, I don't agree with it. I don't agree that she should be a charter member.
I said,
I heard.
does anybody, can anybody explain what the pros and the cons for the city attorney to be added to the charter? To be added as the charter officer?
Should be the city manager.
Can I say something? If she's a charter officer. She's considered an employee, correct?
No.
No.
Okay, but the city would give you all benefits?
No.
Mrs. Starborough, can you go to the mic, please?
Have to work within the city?
They're asking you to
Can you go to the mic so we can get it in recording?
Work within the city 5 days?
The clerk is requiring that you go to the podium so we
So
can
we can
hear
just
your
at least have
voice.
this on
We can't hear
recording,
you.
please, for our records.
Okay, things that I feel like I found out since that was brought up. That she would be an employee of the city and she would work within the city. She would have to give up all her other jobs with other municipalities.
What was the
That's not
benefit to the
correct.
city? What would be our benefit in making the city attorney a charter, we have an attorney and another attorney. Can I ask for your opinion?
No, you
As
can't.
a-
No,
as
you
a-
can't.
We ain't had one.
Well,
She's in the audience, she's not here.
Commissioner Perez, you can either vote it up or down, ask your question.
How can I
The-
vote
the-
it up or down
You
when
only
I don't know what the
You only have one
benefit
charter
to our
member,
city?
you only have one charter member here, and she's trying to answer the question as best she can.
Well,
If you don't have, we're not putting it off, if you don't have enough information, then you vote no.
Is the commissioner, okay, how would it go if she needs to get fired? How would that process go? Do you know that?
I really don't know the full details. I've read about it. I don't know. Can you answer that?
Why the city manager can't answer? He the one that have to hire.
The issue came
Mr. Lewis,
up.
you out of order with all this talking
How
and
would
filming.
it go? Because right now, we could fire the city attorney with cause and without cause, and that's it. So how would that change if the city attorney becomes a charter officer?
This issue was brought before.
I'm not asking
Well,
that
let me
question. I wanna
let me go
know.
back.
I don't care who brought the issue.
Yeah,
I wanna
let
know
me
how
go
it
back.
works.
Question.
I'm going to. This issue was brought up because Commissioner Biggs knows of no other cities that she could suggest or that where the city attorney was not a charter officer. In terms of termination, the charter officers that are a part of the designation right now are the city clerk and the city manager. Generally speaking, the city attorney could be or could not be. Most cities, it probably is the case. You all, I'm not asking for this. This is something that came up from the Charter Review Committee. There is a provision in the charter which deals with termination of the city manager in terms of a process. I will look at that in just a moment. I'm looking for it now, and I can tell you whether the city attorney would be mentioned or will be, whether it's a general provision for any charter officer or whether it's just for the city manager. And that's the same process that Mr. Greg Thompson went through. So this is, it doesn't have anything to do with employment. It doesn't have anything to do with benefits. And it's simply termination. But if you want to go forward, Mr. Mayor, I'll find that provision in the charter and I'll see if it applies.
I'll make these comments just quickly. This is a charter review committee. They made a recommendation to have the city attorney be part of the charter personnel we have, which is currently the city manager and the city clerk. She could care less one way or the other. This is their recommendation. It's our job to determine whether or not we want to move this forward. If we decide that this is a good idea, and a good change for our charter, then it would go before the public would have to vote on it to make this become a reality. So it's just those 3 steps. If we decide it's not a great idea, we don't want to move it forward, it won't pass and won't go anywhere.
Okay, so how would you decide? If you don't know the pros and the cons, how can you decide on something that is gonna affect the entire community? That is our job.
They've been doing this.
That is our job.
We're not questioning your question. If you don't have enough information to vote yes on it, then you vote no.
Do you have
It's
enough
just
I know what I'm gonna vote. I'm concerned of what you guys are gonna vote. That's my concern.
And even if we vote, then the public still would have to vote on
But
it.
they need to know what they're voting on.
Can you tell us?
They need to understand what they're voting
Your
on.
pros and cons with that? Or you just voting just to vote? Because I want to know why you voting like that.
I haven't voted yet.
Mayor Bab, come on, this is the meeting that we're having. Please, let's go through the agenda. I'm not the mayor, but we need to get through the agenda.
Are there any additional questions by the commission?
Yes, I just have a comment. Whether you're right now, a charter member, even if she's a charter member, she still is almost like as an at-will person. She still get fired. She still get right. You can come up here today and you say, I would like to put forth a motion to fire the city attorney. And if it passes through the commission, she will get her purse and she will walk out the door.
No, it's not. Not if she's a charter officer. It's not.
It's a process, but she still could get, yes, but she still could get fired. It's not that she cannot get fired.
We don't need to go through the
Okay, so what's the?
We could just get rid of
Mr. Mayor, I'm prepared to answer the question.
Attorney.
Okay, there is a section 3.03 which deals with the removal of a charter officer. The city commission shall adopt a preliminary resolution stating the reasons for the intended removal and shall offer the charter officer an opportunity, and then it goes forward with the process, and it's the same process.
Read the process, please. Read the process.
Yeah.
I want everybody to know the process.
Again, it is not my item, but I'm happy to.
Yes, you're the attorney, so I'm asking you to read the process.
I'm happy to read it, the rest of it. But again, this is not my item. I'm not asking for it. I did not, as you said earlier, I did not put it forward. It was never anything that I'm asking for or intended. Just so you know.
Mr. Love, you have one more time to interrupt, and I'm gonna ask you to leave. You continue to interrupt this meeting.
Mr. Mayor, would you like for me to read it?
You may.
To remove a charter officer, the city commission shall adopt a preliminary resolution stating reasons for their intended removal and shall offer the city officer an opportunity for a public hearing before the commission on the matters raised by the resolution. This preliminary resolution may also suspend the charter officer from duty immediately without pay. The charter officer must accept the offer of public hearing or file written response within 10 days of the adoption of the preliminary resolution, or the resolution becomes final at the expiration of the 10-day period and the charter officer is terminated on that date. If a public hearing is requested, it shall be held not later than 20 days or later than 30 days after the adoption of the preliminary resolution. After such public hearing or after consideration of any written response, the commission shall adopt a final resolution of removal or let the preliminary resolution lapse. That is what 3.03 says about charter officers.
The only thing that I wanna add to that, this has nothing to do with you. You didn't put it here. It was put by Ms. Biggs for the purpose of protecting your position. So everyone knows why this is here. Why she brought it up.
I have a question, if I might. If you become a charter officer, I mean, you're saying you didn't ask for this, and we know that, but if you became a charter officer, would you be under the commission? Would you be like hired by the commission or under the city manager?
It would continue to be under the commission, And just to state, just so that this is clear, I've never had any conversation with former Commissioner Biggs about this issue. I have no idea of her intent. I don't think anybody would unless she were here to answer that alone, so, I mean, by herself. But to answer your question, it would still be under the commission.
Again, we have the motion and a second. We're gonna move this forward. Again, our vote, whether it's yay or nay, if it's yay, it will go before the public, our community, for a vote. They would have to approve it in addition to the commission approving.
That will be in the next election. It won't be y'all just say y'all gonna vote next week.
Right.
Explain to the people that'll be on the ballot for the next election. Don't like y'all gonna do this on next week.
Right.
Explain it, 'cause like
Now, you done already explained it there.
I know, cause you couldn't explain it.
And also explain where it came from. Who's the one that suggested it? Also explain that one.
We have a motion and a second. We have asked a question. Are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
No.
Commissioner Perez?
No.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Motion passed by a 3-2 vote. This is the first reading. We'll have a second reading and a public hearing. If it passed there, then it will go on a ballot at our next election to decide whether or not that the city attorney will be a chartered member or not. Our next ordinance is ordinance 2023-02, City Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, submitting to referendum an amendment to the city charter, amending section 4.02 entitled Qualifying to establish a requirement that all candidates for mayor and city commissioner shall reside within the city limits of the City of Pahokee for at least 1 year prior to qualifying, establishing requirements for representation of certain official documents as proof of residency, establishing requirements for reasonable training standards prior to the qualifying, providing for adoption of representations, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation?
Yes, sir. On page 20 of the agenda, Exhibit A. Candidates for city commission shall qualify by filing a written notice of candidacy with the city clerk at such time and in such manner as may be prescribed by ordinance. To be eligible to hold the office of mayor and city commissioner of the city of Pahokee, or to qualify for nomination or election as such, the candidate shall have resided in the city limits of the city of Pahokee for a minimum of 1 year immediately preceding the date of qualifying, and shall continuously reside in the city of Pahokee, shall present certain official documents as proof of residency, to include at a minimum a Florida driver's license or a Florida identification card, any utility bill showing the address of the residence, and a voter's registration card. The same address shall be shown on all 3 official documents and serve as verification of proof of residency. Candidates for nomination or election shall comply with the reasonable training standards prior to qualification as established by city ordinance.
City Commission, having had this ordinance read by our city attorney and properly explained by city manager, what is your pleasure? I'll accept a motion if that's the case. If not, then it would die for the like of.
Maybe I move to accept 2023-02.
I'll second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Mervin for the adoption of resolution. Call for questions.
Question. It says right here that you should have 3 official documents. What about person who's running, who's married to somebody, and all the bills on that person's name?
Mr. Mayor? If that's the case, that's one of the things that came up in the meeting, and if that is the case, the address would just need to match, be the same address. It wouldn't necessarily, it doesn't address the name, it addresses the address, but it has to be an address from, you know, that residence. It might be in the husband's name or the wife's name or whatever, or the son's name or daughter's name, whatever the case may be. But that address would have to match the driver's license and/or the identification card, along with the utility bill and the voter registration card.
Okay, what are the requirements to vote in the city of Pahokee?
I'm sorry?
When you're voting in the city of Pahokee, when you go up to vote, they ask you for a driver's license, right? An ID, right? That's good enough for them to vote and within the city limits.
This is not my item. This is put forward by the Charter Review Commission. The chair is here. It was voted unanimously, and she may be able to come up and answer your question.
Ms. Chair, can you please come out?
Yeah, because I have a problem with that.
I'd like to know, first of all, who made that recommendation?
Busy tonight, Ms. Doggrove.
It was Miss Biggs.
Ms. Biggs.
Go figure.
Okay.
And actually, she wanted 2 years that you had to live here. But I think within a year, you should know something about the city. So.
Okay, so, we already have to turn in, the voter registration and the driver's license. So, what's the purpose of the utility bill?
Well, that was an issue, because it's like Johnny said, what if, you know, the utility bills are in your husband's name or your better half, whichever it may be.
The attorney just answered that when
Right.
it would now just be the residence address they're concerned about, not the person name who's on that particular bill. Most of these requirements are required by most municipalities. We got folks that don't live in a city or area, but they somehow run. And it's just a safeguard just to make sure that if you're running for office, there's some means of checking and balancing, saying that you actually live where you say you live.
Correct.
I have to say something on that.
Yeah.
Based on what he's saying there, it brings me back in the days, like they were attacking Ms. Perez on that. To me, it sounds now like they're trying to target her to a certain, trying to limit her rerunning if she decides to run. That's what it sounds like.
And let me explain why so that everybody knows, okay? I live in a building that has 4 apartments, okay? I lived in the upstairs, it went 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? I lived in 4. From 4, the person in number 2 moved out. I renovated it, moved there. The person that was in 3 moved to 4. I fixed 4 and I rented it. I painted the outside and I was gonna renumber the building to be 1, 2, 3, 4, so that I could keep 4. That's why I left my driver's license and my voter's ID said 4. When Neil moved to number 4, okay, I moved these things because he is an interstate truck driver. He spends about 4 days of the month in his apartment. He told me to move his things over to his apartment. When he came back, I said, by the way, Anil, I'm gonna keep 4, I'm changing the numbers, you'll be number 2. He mentioned to me, oh my God, and I said, what's the problem? Well, since I travel, I pay everything online and I just changed everything. He had even put the internet, which they came to put it and they canceled it because they came to my apartment and it was the wrong number. So they canceled it and he told me that story. I told him, don't worry about it, leave it like that. I don't receive my mail there, I get it at my office. All my life, my mail comes to my place of business. I said, so leave it there. Whenever you need to get the mail, just go to 4 and get it. I don't have a problem. The other problem was the water department had the apartment where I was living that I wanted to be number 4, they had it as 2. Okay? So because my water bill, which is under the company name, came to number 2, and I had number 4, they wanted to disqualify me because I lived at a different address, which the judge ruled that I was legally to run because the address is 949 East Main Street. It doesn't matter whether I live in 1, 2, 3, or 4. So if they're attacking me, I hope that this is sufficient so that you guys know that you could take me to court again and I will sue you again, and this time I'm gonna get paid for my attorney's fees because the judge told you if you keep doing it, you're gonna have to be responsible for what I decide to do. So now you guys go with it. Now you know the reason why they're doing all these things are targeted towards me. They want me out. I don't know why. I must be a threat.
Them 3 people can't vote you out. Them 3 people can't
In addition to question, this ordinance is not about Ms. Perez.
No, it's
There's
not.
been other folks
No, it's not yet.
have attempted to run.
Name them. Name them.
I'm not
Name
gonna
them.
name them.
Twice you guys have done this to me. The same commission.
The people don't vote your ass out, Ms. Perez. They can't do that.
Hearing no additional question,
Let them try it a
are
third
you ready
time.
for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
No.
Commissioner Perez?
No.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Motion passed by a 3-2 vote. Next resolution is Resolution 2023-06, City Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, submitting to referendum an amendment to the city charter, amending section 5.02 entitled Oath of Officers, taking office to establish a requirement that newly elected officials be sworn into office at the beginning of the next properly noticed city commission meeting, providing for adoption of representations, providing for conflict and repealer. Yes, sir.
I misspoke. We did do 05 first. Let's do that one.
We didn't do 03.
03 was the next one, Mr. Mayor, under ordinance.
Yeah.
Should I continue? Okay. Do you want me to restart or just start from where I stopped?
Start when you start.
Beginning of the next properly noticed city commission meeting, providing for adoption of representation, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager, brief explanation.
Yes, sir. Exhibit A is section 5.02, oath of officers taking office. After election or appointment and before taking office, each commissioner or charter officer of the city shall take the oath of office as prescribed by ordinance. Newly elected officials shall be sworn in and take office at the beginning of a properly noticed city commission meeting following official certification of election results by the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections.
City Commission having had this ordinance properly read into the minutes by our city attorney and properly explained by our city manager, what is your pleasure?
Mayor Bab, I move to accept 2023-03.
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly seconded by Vice Mayor Mervin for the adoption on first reading of ordinance 2023-03. Call for question.
Question. Isn't this already in our books? That we're supposed to be sworn in at the very beginning?
No, it's not.
I have it right here, section 5.02, oath of office, taking office. After election or appointment and before taking office, each commissioner or charter officer of the city shall take the oath of office as prescribed by ordinance. Newly elected officials shall be sworn in and take office the day following the election, provided that the election results have been certified to the city by the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections.
It is not. The issue that this is
It's
dealing.
right here, I got it from the code. I got it.
The issue that this is dealing with, as it's stated in the ordinance title, it really deals with the beginning, doing it at the beginning of the meeting. This was one that did not come from Ms. Biggs. I believe it may have come from the chair, I'm not sure, but it came from someone else. And the issue was when, and it was actually an issue that Commissioner Perez had before. She thought she should have been sworn in at the beginning of the meeting rather than at the end or something like that. So that was to address that issue. It was voted on unanimously. So there's nothing that says they have to be sworn in at the beginning of the meeting. Now, if the voters voted for this, and the commission obviously voted before, it would allow for at the beginning of the meeting.
Okay, let me repeat it. Okay, newly elected officials shall be sworn in and take office the day following the election, provided that the election's result have been certified to the city by the Palm Beach County Supervisors of Election. The day that we were to be sworn in, we were already elected, we were certified, and we were denied on being sworn in at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah, that's the issue. It doesn't address the beginning of the meeting. You will not see. Let me just because you scream doesn't mean you're right. You're wrong. Okay, here's the other issue. Here's the other issue, because I'm not gonna keep doing this. But here's the other issue. And having done election law for many years, I can tell you that the elections are hardly ever certified the day after the election. Okay, so the issue here, and it wasn't in the case that Ms. Perez is talking about. The issue here is they wanted to make it clear that it would be at the beginning of the meeting. So even, let's just say hypothetically, some pie in the sky thing happened where it was that the commission could be sworn in the day after, which never happens. Let's just say that happened. It could still be at the end of the meeting. So it would not address the issue of when during the meeting, once it is certified by the Supervisor of Elections Office, when that would take place. But this legislation would address that issue, and it would allow for them, without having any other business taken care of, they wouldn't have to wait until the end of the meeting. It would allow for the swearing in at the beginning of the meeting. So if you all choose to pass this, that's what it would do, and that's the difference between what you. That's the difference between.
Violated when we became commissioners?
It was not. No.
It was not.
No, it was not, because the election results were not certified the day after the election.
The election was certified the day that we went to City Hall to get to be sworn in.
No, let me say this. The election results, the issue.
You won't let folks.
I'm talking.
She just wants to yell.
I am talking. She's interrupting me.
No, you actually interrupted me.
No.
Yeah, you did.
That day, you mentioned it and it's recorded. You mentioned, yes, Mayor, she's right.
It did not.
They need to be sworn in at the beginning.
No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. No. No. Okay. Okay. Let me just say now. It would be clear. It would be clear that
after the meeting was adjourned because the city manager wanted to put his resignation and not get fired.
You out of order, Mr.
That is the reason why they did it.
You out of order. You're
I'm out of order. I'm shouting because I am upset.
How's she out of order? I voted in your favor.
No, you did not.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing.
Because I just looked at the meeting before I came. So
it's all on Facebook. I voted in favor of you and Gonzalez being sworn in at the beginning of the meeting.
But Mr. Mayor,
you cannot allow us to come up here and sit down and vote.
Mr. Mayor, now it will be clear that it should be at the beginning. It's not addressed in the legislation. So now, if this passes, it will be clear that it will be in the beginning. It was not anything. It was not any.
In additional questions.
I just have a comment, just listening. It doesn't matter to me whether beginning or other, but the question is that I have is, normally when you have, if you're newly sworn in and there's an agenda, the newly elect doesn't have the agenda. So if the meeting continue, how would they know what's going on in the
How
meeting?
did you know? How did you know?
I was done at
How
the-
did he know? How did he know?
Sissy, can you stop cutting us off, Ms. Perez? Please, let us just finish our comments.
Because you
No,
changed.
not one time I cut, I did not.
You changed the wording to.
I'm asking-
Please, your agenda.
Can I please have my comment as you had your comment,
Vice
please?
Mayor has the
I just have a
floor.
comment, I'm just asking a comment. Like tonight, if there was an election tonight, and Ms. Barb, you're here as the chair. If there was a meeting tonight and we had this agenda, and I was sworn in at the beginning of the meeting, how would I know how to vote is when I never would have seen the agenda prior to being voted in? That was just my comment. So that's why I'm saying that.
Okay. Any additional questions?
Yes, I have a question.
When you became a
Commissioner
Did you have the agenda, or did you sit down and didn't know anything about the
Ms.
agenda?
Mervin.
I'm asking you because you had a first time up here.
Ms. Mervin,
I have another question.
You don't know
Running for
that.
a commissioner,
You don't know
you
that.
said that you had to be
You don't know that.
trained.
That's
That you had to have some type of training.
That's not true what you just
What
said.
type of training are you talking about?
Don't come over here.
Probably
I just said,
need to be
Stay over there.
I just said it's not
Stay in your
true.
lane.
protocol,
Stay
ethics.
in your lane.
That
Say
is
you
not,
do.
So you're
Miss-
saying
Miss-
everybody don't know what it is yet.
Stay in your lane now. I don't get into politics. Keep me out of it.
No, you talking to me, so I'll just answer you back.
She out of order too.
We're gonna move forward. We have a motion and a second on the floor. All right. Commissioner Gonzalez had a question.
now my question was basically for Ms. Mervin and Derek Bolden here. When your first time, when you ran for commissioner, were you sworn in? The very first time, not the second time. The very first time, were you sworn at the end or at the beginning?
They did right at the end of the meeting, at my first 2016.
The beginning, at the end of the meeting?
At the end of the meeting.
At the end of the meeting?
Yes.
Okay, and Derek was sworn at the beginning.
At the end. You guys were not voted at the end of the meeting?
No, she was.
You sat up here and you were part of the meeting.
Okay. So how does that work?
You vote how you vote, Gonzalez. This came from the chair, the charter committee. It didn't come from us, it came from the charter committee.
Committee would kind of clear this
Yeah,
up.
and Mayor Bell, can I add, and with the charter committee, if you can hear, all 5 of them voted unanimously on it. It didn't come from us, it came from it's just a recommendation
No, I was referring
from
to
the charter committee.
No, I was referring what you were talking about.
It's just a recommendation from the charter committee. I wasn't here, you wasn't here, they recommended
I think
this.
this came from former Commissioner Bolden.
This came from James.
James, okay.
Okay, so there you go.
But it was a unanimous vote.
It was a unanimous vote from the
No, I don't have a
committee.
problem with this. I was just referring to what you were
So
telling
it just,
me.
so this vote on the
You can either
committee.
vote for it or vote against it. I mean,
That's all.
have a debate this long on something that's gonna be beneficial to a newly elected commissioner coming in to clarify when they would be sworn in at the beginning. It's pretty simple, clean and dry. I'm not sure why we debating on this here. Any additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Mr. Love, I'm gonna ask you,
Violated when we did.
would y'all scope Mr. Love out so we can continue? You continue to disrupt the meeting, Mr. Love. I think you want a badge of honor. I'm honoring you with that. Would you please leave so we continue?
I'm sorry. Is
All
that
right.
what you want somebody to apologize to you like they a little boy? I ain't that little boy.
Are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Hold on. Hey, man.
You
You don't tell me what to
You
do.
don't tell me nothing.
Oh, yeah, in this court,
Mr. Love,
you don't run this.
we're gonna ask him to leave at this point if we could.
We need a vote from the commission if you're able to continue.
Let's take a vote. If this is a disruption that disturbing us from continuing our meeting, we're gonna have a roll call. City Clerk, what you call a roll? This is a
That's not how that
favor
work,
of
man.
having
Let the
someone.
city attorney do this.
All right.
Yeah, well, technically, I mean, this was, if you all pass, that's what's in the ordinance right now. for it to be a roll call vote, but technically, I mean, what you have been doing in the past, if you directed but if they're saying that's the only way they'll do it, that's fine. But technically, this hasn't started yet, the new ordinance. So, you know, if you ask them and they're saying we won't do it without that, then that's what you all should take a vote. But, okay.
I just want to be clear, Commissioner, if it's not a disruption to you, it's certainly one to me, but if it's not for the majority, then we won't have this person removed from the chamber. It's up to this commission to determine.
Say my name.
Robert Love, Mr. Love.
Remember, it is a disruption, but you know, you want every.
To you, it's all three of y'all black people. I'm a disruption. I wasn't no destruction when I was running around holding a sign for you, wasn't. I wasn't no destruction when I was on the live every day talking about vote for y'all, wasn't.
It's a destruction because we're trying to get through the meeting. That's it. You can't butt in through the meeting.
Talking about it, don't just be lying.
That's the disruption, Mayor. It's not the disruption of being here in the meeting. The disruption is when you keep butting it in the meeting.
Yay or nay on it.
That's
I'm
the
gonna ask
problem.
the city clerk for a roll call on this. So it's just not one person asking for a remover. It has to be the majority.
Don't y'all put everybody out to be, because ain't nobody that's going on with what y'all talking about. Is any of y'all in agreement with them?
You want to
We don't
continue?
do
Yes,
that
it's
nowhere
called a
else.
roll.
No.
For the ordinance? Or
No,
for-
not for the ordinance, to ask,
So-
have Mr. Love escorted out because of constant disruption in the meeting.
Okay, who motion, who second?
That's not right, Mayor.
I motion, who did the second on it?
Ain't
I
nobody
think
lying
it's a
on the
vote.
side.
You did the second?
I didn't even make a motion for it.
No.
All right, let's go ahead and go on and continue. I'm not even gonna worry at this point. I'll do it again if it's continued.
Okay.
We're gonna vote now on the ordinance 2023-03. This is allowing the newly elected commission to be sworn in at the beginning of the meeting.
You ready? You ready? No, I'm ready.
Yes.
Whenever you are.
Roll call.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
No.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Motion passed by unanimous majority of 41 vote. Next on our agenda is ordinance 23-04. City Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, repealing and replacing Article 2, Section 2-26 entitled City Commission Meetings Generally and 2-29 entitled Order of Business, renumbering and reordering as necessary, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, City Attorney. City Manager, brief explanation.
Yes, sir. On page 32, Section 2, amending Section 2-29 of the City of Pahokee's Code of Ordinance entitled Order of Business. So J, new business, in the parentheses is presentation by city manager or activity.
Excuse me, Mr. Lucas. Before you go there, there's page 2 that has the issue that you want to start with under procedures, scope, and taking action for noncompliance.
On page 2.
Page 2. And I don't mind going through it if you want me, if you want to.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioners, this issue had come up in the last meeting. There are two issues, and one was basically a correction, and the other one was something that the mayor brought up to address specifically what would happen in the case of disruption of if it were commissioners. And so the mayor wanted to address not only commissioners, but be clear about what would happen to the public if there's disruption. You all are allowed by your rules of procedure per the charter to set your own rules of how you decide to operate as a commission. And so the question that was asked of me by the mayor or one of the other commissioners was whether you could do this. And in fact, of course you can. You're allowed not only by statute, but also it's a part of your charter. So here, this would add a new section 4 on page 2 of 12 of this document, and specifically the language would read as to members of the City Commission. And it says, members of the City Commission are expected to ensure proper decorum during all meetings of the city. If, after a warning from the mayor, a city commissioner is found to be disruptive in such a manner whereby business cannot be conducted as determined by the mayor shall instruct law enforcement to remove a disruptive city commissioner from the commission chambers for that meeting. A decision made by the mayor may be overridden by a vote of any 3 members of the city commission. And that is another change that the mayor asked for in his future agenda item, that the city commission, so he's not making that decision solely, that there be some override provision for which 3 people could make. The other section that was added in this is to make it clear as to the public, and it says, if a member of the public, if it's a member of the public, the city commission or charter officer or of the city is found to be disruptive in such a manner whereby business cannot be conducted as determined by the mayor shall instruct law enforcement to remove said person from the commission chambers for that meeting. A decision made by the mayor may be overridden by a vote of any 3 members of the city commission. And so these are the changes pertaining to that issue. And additionally,
correction, on number 5 it says, if a member of the public, city staff, not commissioners, city staff or charter officer of the city is found.
Yeah, this added a member of the public.
Number 4 specifically for commissioners. That was written specifically for me, so that the mayor could throw me out with the sheriff
No,
department.
but she said commissioners on number 5.
No,
This is state commissioners, says staff.
You're right. Number
City
5
staff.
is different, Commissioner Gonzalez. Number 5 relates to members of the public, city staff, or a charter officer. If the city, so it pretty much mimics the language in the paragraph 4, but it's different because one paragraph relates to city commissioners and what you all what you all can do if you all are disruptive. The other paragraph relates to staff, charter officers, and also the public. So the 5th clause you see there is different than the 4th. It's for 2 different groups of people. You understand now?
Right, but I'm saying as you were reading number 5.
Yes,
But
it's
you
a
didn't
different.
You didn't say staff. You said commissioners.
No, it's a member of the public, city staff, or charter officer. That relates to 5. 5 is different than 4. 4
Right.
relates to the commission.
Correct.
5 relates to the 3 categories that I just mentioned. It's different. The 2 paragraphs are different.
And this is not directly aimed at Commissioner Perez.
Keith,
It even have city staff, it have charter members. But to be honest, Commissioner Perez, you have been perhaps in my lifetime the most disrupted commissioner I've saw on this dais constantly. And it's unfair for me as a mayor of the presiding office to have a public member removed.
You talking about me?
When
You
we
talking about me? I know
have,
you ain't talking about me now, because I'm going to talk about you if you talk about
when
me.
we have commissioners that do the same thing. I even say that when the attorney was acting out, that person should be removed if this meeting can't move forward. So no one is exempt, but we do have some safeguards where it's gonna take more than just myself. This commission as a majority got to concur to say, that disruption
Look at the
need to be
majority.
removed.
Look at the majority.
Yes,
You
y'all
guys,
majority.
you guys got the majority.
Y'all the same one.
So,
Everything.
and the language here with a member of the public, that was put there so that it wouldn't look like it's being targeted towards me. You have before threatened me with the sheriff department putting me out. So now you wanna put it in as part of the charter so that you could have the right. Are we a strong mayor? Or are you just another vote?
I'm gonna say this, I've probably been the most lenient mayor in the history of Pahokee as far as putting people out. I have over-tolerated a lot of disruption. I get people that text me on my phone and call me after the meeting. Why didn't you put this individual out? We're being recorded. It not only make me look bad as a presiding officer, it make this city look bad. So it's still the last
When your
resort.
brother said
I
that,
hate
interrupted the meeting.
and I hesitate to remove anybody.
What's her name?
St. Clair, and Mr.
Yeah.
Pastor Wallace and all
And Pastor Wallace and all of them, when they were sitting here, when they were screaming, when they were interrupting our meetings.
I was in that commission meeting 6 years.
Commissioner-
And nobody never put me
Commissioner
out. You the only
Bolden,
one.
Commissioner
So
Bolden
stop
had
lying
a,
about-
Commissioner
about
Bolden had a comment. I'm sorry.
What I'm gonna ask is, I see that we have an override by a vote of 3. Can we make that 4? So if we disagree with that, and all 4 of us vote for that, would that be okay?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, through the mayor, you can certainly increase it to have a supermajority to have to override the mayor's decision.
And that would, okay.
That would be fine, yeah.
Let's, just for discussion, if it's the disrupted person, do that person now have a vote? I'm just asking.
Disrupted.
Yeah.
Say it's me acting up. Do I have a vote to say, no, don't remove me? I mean, how, it's gonna have to be a majority.
Right.
That would include the person who's being disrupted.
So that's,
It's
so
fine.
if we feel like you
If
are,
one is disrupted and 4 vote that you're not to be thrown out, that's the majority, 4 out of 5.
This is the first time in 100 years y'all been discussing throwing the commissioner out.
It won't have any weight on this ordinance if you do it that way, but I don't have a problem if that's what the commission decide to do. That means if one of us is acting up, just for instance, you're acting up, you have to vote to remove yourself. 4 of you all now would have to vote along with me to say, yes, I am being disrupted, I vote yes. If you vote no.
Mr. Mayor, actually, Mr. Mayor, the way this would work is you would actually make the decision, and then in order to reverse your decision, it would take 3 or 4 people to do it. If it's three is what it says right now. But what is being proposed is, what if there was 4? You could do 4. That just raises the number of people that it would have to reverse you, which makes it, more favorable that the person probably will be gone. So right now, if you make a decision, and the only issue is reversing it. That's what you're talking about now.
Thank you. Okay. Makes sense.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. Because if you make the decision, in order for us to be able to reverse your decision,
Right.
all 4 of us gonna have to vote
Yes.
that you disagree.
Right.
No, that doesn't make sense.
you wanna leave it at 3?
Either way, you got the majority, so it doesn't matter whether it's 3 or 4.
It just saying it'll
If
take
it's
4
It's just gonna take 4 of us to
to
say.
remove it.
It'll have to be 4. If 3 say yes, you still got the 4th one says no, they can't do it.
That's right. To override him so that he doesn't throw the person out. Exactly. So So how does that work?
I think a majority still would be fine. I really do, because really, for instance, it would take 3 of y'all to say,
I'll do 4.
It'd be 4 anyway, because 4 still has to vote, so why not 4?
okay.
Because 4 still has to vote.
Okay.
when somebody gonna get put out.
Okay. Any additional questions?
Mr. Mayor, you would need to amend that to make it, that provision to make it 4, if that's what you all decide to do. You have to, somebody has to make a motion to amend that.
I motion to accept the ordinance with the amended 4 instead of 3.
Second.
But we're not voting on it yet.
No.
Just that provision. Yeah.
Kathy, would you have
We have a
and
motion and a second. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes.
The next area, Mr. Mayor, is Section 2, amending Section 2-29. And what was done here is, if you look at what had been brought up, this was brought up in a previous meeting. Mr. Mayor, you had mentioned combining commissioner comments with for good of the order, because it's kind of similar stuff, and instead of having a whole nother round, the commissioners would also do their comments in addition to for the good of the order. And so what this one did was take out the comments and in, and then for the good of the order would be whatever comments you all wanted to have. What a lot of cities do is they have for the good of the order at the end of the agenda, because what it does is it allows for your meetings to hopefully close with, on a good note, something about, this happened, or I went to a celebration, or don't forget to, the band is going to play, or, something, it's supposed to be something good. But in this case, you would also add whatever other comments you have, and then that would work to make your meetings more efficient. That's one of the things that had come up. That's how it had been before, in the last time you had this ordinance, before it was repealed for a few months, and then and it was a little bit more efficient.
So it's not that they can't make their comments at the end.
You can make say anything you want to say. You're just saying it at one time, so it's not starting all over, new stuff and whatever.
The way it's presented is, it's got commissioner comments, then next it got for the good of the order. Just feel that you're combining both of those. When you make your comment, hopefully at the end of your comments, you can say something good. If not, that's fine too. But
If you're gonna combine it, I think you need to write it.
Yeah, because I don't see that on
It
there.
says for the good of the order, in parentheses, community events, feel good announcements, if any. That's what it says. So you need to add commissioners' comments. For the good of the order, community events, feel good announcements, if any. I don't want in the future to say, well, according to the agenda, it doesn't say anything about commissioners' comments, so you cannot make any comments. If you don't have no feel good, you can't talk. So if you're gonna combine it, it needs to be added to it.
I agree.
So we need to amend it.
we're noting that attorney on the combined.
Yes, you would just have to make a motion for that, and then if that's accepted. And then I also want to let you know, we're re-letter it in OP instead of NPQ. So that I'll make when you bring it back for the second reading.
So I make a motion that we amend, for the good of the order, and to also have the wording, commissioner comments included.
I second.
Been moved by Commissioner Perez and properly second by Commissioner Bolden for this ordinance. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commission. The motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to our resolutions.
We're still on the ordinance.
What
She
ordinance
just
is
voted regarding for the good of the order.
You voted on the good of the
The good of
order
the order, so she wanted.
issue, and now you, I guess you'll vote for the, now you'll vote for the final ordinance.
Which one is it?
The one that you just talked about, the rules of procedure.
2023-04.
Oh, four.
Oh, four?
Yes, sir.
City Attorney, you need to read anything?
No, sir.
Okay. What's your pleasure, Commissioners?
Yeah, remember about number 4, because I'm not with number 4. You're not to throw me out of here.
You've already voted,
You
you all have already
already
voted on that. Now you're just voting it, just to make it clear, you're just overall ordinance.
So we're voting on what we already approved.
Yeah.
Right.
For everything, with the changes.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
There the second.
We need a,
Who made the motion? You? Okay.
I thought you did.
All right, I'll say I made the motion. It
Okay.
has been moved by the mayor and, second by Commissioner Gonzalez.
can you state the motion?
It's to approve the ordinance.
To approve.
With the amendments?
Yes, with the amendment.
Call for questions. Hearing none. Are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
No.
Motion passed by majority of 41 vote. Now we'll move to resolutions. First resolution is Resolution 2023-03.
A resolution of, yes, Mr. Mayor, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the expenditure of ARPA funding in accordance with the approved budget attached hereto is Exhibit A, providing for an effective date.
City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation?
Yes. On Resolution 2023-03, we'd like to approve for $3,162,890. What I've handed out today is the ARPA anticipation timelines. So as of today, we want to roll out, once we approve this ordinance for the whole ARPA, is to go next based on this listing on launch dates. So the next one after this is for minor home repair program and for residents and for seniors and vets and disabled. Then the next will be residential utilities and rental assistance, behavioral and mental health assistance, job workforce education, training and development. Then it's the revenue replacement services for PBSO for prepayment, and then it would be the marina and docks repair and the itemization of that and the campground.
Gonna entertain a motion and a second, if that's the desire of the commission, and then we're gonna have questions. I know we have plenty of questions, so.
Mayor, I move that we will accept Resolution 2023-03 regarding ARPA funding.
I second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Vice Mayor Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Bolden for the acceptance of the ARPA funding timeline. Call for questions. Commissioner Bolden.
This is for the city manager. I see the allocation for behavioral mental health assistance. That's up to 150. Is that 150 per person? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
All right. The reason I'm I'm bringing this up is because if we're really gonna help someone, 150 is probably 1 or 2 sessions. Was that intentional, or is that something that we wanted to limit it to? 1 or 2 additional sessions, or how do we want to do that?
The goal is to have at least 1 to 3 sessions.
Okay, but.
And that would cover co-pays, or if that person doesn't have insurance,
Okay.
that would cover the actual payment.
I'm just saying the average rate is probably gonna be around $75, right? So, if someone needs additional help, is it over if they just have maybe 3 sessions?
Is your question, is it a one-time service?
Right.
It would essentially be a one-time service to be able to reach as many residents as possible. In the next fiscal year, when the program returns, that's something that, with the permission of leadership, they can then reapply for assistance.
If I could, Commissioner, with 150 being the maximum, that's gonna cover maybe 2 sessions, but how
1 to 3
many are
sessions.
you projecting we're gonna be reaching? Because is that number
200 people.
200?
You do 30,000 divided into 150.
Okay,
200
so
people.
if you project maybe 100 persons are gonna be utilizing this service, you can double that from 150 now to 300. I don't think 200 people is gonna be participating in this particular program.
We can. So we can double it to 300, drop it from 200 to 100.
Yeah, that would, I think that would work together.
And what did, I mean, the criteria, like how would you go about that?
The criteria for the programs in general,
Yeah, where would you be getting
the mental health assistance,
the patients,
it would-
candidates, like,
it would be on the healthcare providers in the area that would participate in the program. And they then, if their client is a City of Pahokee resident, could then fill out the paperwork, and they would be paid directly from this funding to that office, so that we're not violating any HIPAA rights.
so if there's a mental patient, you need a referral from the psychiatrist, and he will bring it to the city, and the city will issue the voucher to the doctor?
Well, if it's counseling, therapy, something in that realm, that medical provider would then fill out the forms and then submit a request for payment to the City of Pahokee, with providing that they've verified that that resident is from the city, is a resident of the City of Pahokee. We're just trying to respect HIPAA laws, so we're trying not to require too much medical documentation, especially when you're talking about sensitive information such as someone's mental health condition or something they're struggling with.
So it would have to be either from a certified
A
counselor
licensed-
or a psychiatrist?
Yes, they would have to be licensed.
Because if it is for mental health,
Yes, ma'am.
it will have to be,
Yes, they would have to be a licensed healthcare provider in that field, in mental health
is it for
services.
treatment or is it for assessment?
It would be counseling, it would be therapy, so anything in that, of that nature. So if you're talking about someone being Baker acted or being at a drug rehab facility, we wouldn't be able to support that endeavor. But this is general therapy services, this is general mental health services.
Yeah, I just, realistically, and number one, I think realistically, we'll probably be successful if we have maybe 25 people even join. Mental health is stigmatized in our community, We're gonna need a little bit of education on it, and we're gonna have to figure out a way to kind of, any apprehension that people may have about getting the help that they need, we're gonna have to educate in order to do that. But I think we'd be lucky to probably get between 25 and 50 people. So I just think that, you know, I think we need not think about the number of people that does it. I think we need to kind of maybe leave that open and kind of see, because mental health is stigmatized in our community. We're not going to have people beating the door down to do it, and we're going to have to do a lot of educating in the process. So that may be something we need to look at again.
Yeah, and how are you gonna, when you say mental health, how are you gonna make that?
Determination?
How are you gonna diagnose that?
That's what I'm saying. We are taking ourselves out of diagnosing anyone or assuming liability in that, again, per HIPAA. So we are allowing the healthcare provider to say, this John Doe is under my care as a licensed therapist.
So actually, this is gonna be towards the health, this is gonna be for the healthcare providers.
Correct.
If they have any patients that live in the area of Pahokee, they could apply to the city and get reimbursed or get paid for that one patient.
Yes.
So really, this is
to help the resident.
But it's
Yes.
gonna be for the practitioner.
Correct.
Not for the individual.
Well, it's for the individual because the individual is benefiting from the services.
Yeah, the services, but the
But-
money's gonna go to the provider.
It would always had to have gone to the provider, because if you're getting mental health services, you're not going to be able to pocket the money. You still would, if you were getting the money in your hand, you would still have to pay the healthcare provider to receive the services. So we're just basically cutting out the middleman, paying
Okay, so
the
you have-
provider directly.
Do you have a list of providers?
No,
Do
Palm
you?
Beach County is already doing what they're talking about doing. You
We
can get
have-
it all over Palm Beach County right now.
We have
What she talking
a
about.
list, of community partners that provide those services, and they also shared with us that they will share their outsourcing as well. So if a patient needs more than therapy and they need a psychologist, then that would be, and this is an example I'm giving, that would be outsourced.
So if a person who never did this, they're trying to make a change in their life and they want to get some help, is that what we're doing here also? For
Yes.
someone who they say, oh, listen, I want to try to make a change, I think I need to see a therapist. This is for them to,
To have to
someone
go
who's never done it.
You can go to Palm Beach County Health
Yes.
Department and do that.
So
Why
we're
would you
trying to encourage, and this is an endeavor that was put forth to us by some residents and members of the commission. So this is not the city just arbitrarily pulling things out of the sky and creating an ARPA line for the mayor and commission to support. So we just want to make sure that we're clear on that, and that the mayor and commission, as well as the community, knows that the services that the resident would be receiving would be through their licensed mental health provider.
Question.
So in your case, the questions that he asked, a person that thinks, you know, they wanna seek help, they'll have to go to one of the providers that are participating, go to them, get counsel, they make the assessment, figure out whether he needs sections with a psychologist or they need psychiatric help. And then that's what he was asked. How would a person that is not under care, that has not been seen or diagnosed?
So you're asking how would they seek these services? Through the city? Is that what you're asking?
I mean, I guess he's asking how would they know who are the providers?
So the city would announce who the providers are, and the city would do as we always do. We would have an official announcement on the city's website, as well as the city's social media pages, encouraging residents who are seeking these services to seek help through these participating providers. And we will entertain.
Is this for rehab as well?
May I chime in?
No, it's just basic mental health services.
Yes, absolutely.
Commissioner, so all these things, these programs on this sheet is COVID-related. So
Correct.
if you,
Long Beach County already doing what you talking about.
I appreciate that, Mr. Love. But all I'm saying for this program, that this is COVID-related. So if being displaced or the
Losing a loved
germs,
one.
all these things have affected someone's mental state, that's what we're dealing with. Just so you know. for
And that's
clarity.
inclusive of losing a loved one or experiencing COVID themselves and almost losing their lives. That is, those are all traumatic events that many of our residents have experienced, but just don't know how to get the mental health care that they need to push through. Correct.
I just don't want
Counseling, therapy, psychology.
I just don't want to put
Psychologist.
any limitations. Some people may need more than others. That's all. That's true.
So we can
so
explore
over the
a
number?
provision that will allow us to make those adjustments as needed.
Question on the lunch date for the #1 minor home repair program. We're talking about the 27th, the day of the 14th. That's almost 2 weeks. Why that bigger gap? What do we need to get this off and running? Will the application, for instance, be available and ready, say tomorrow, so they can at least start applying and maybe checks or whatever we're doing, reimbursement go out on the 27th? But I'm just asking the question, why is that big gap there?
So we normally give anywhere between 5 to 10 business days between the programs, just to make sure we're buffering out any glitches that someone might have missed, or something else that needs to be explored, something else that may be putting staff members in place. So those are the things that we do to
What are we
get that.
calling lunch? You starting the application process on the 27th?
Correct. So residents will be allowed to come in and pick up the applications.
To me, that's 2 weeks, that's a little long to start the application process.
Well, those dates aren't set in stone, so if the mayor and commission would like it to be a date that's sooner and in reasonable
I just
time,
hope we could start a little
open
sooner.
to.
That's just my input on it. You know, I was hoping it's the meeting today, tomorrow people could come to City Hall and at least request application and a guideline for this home repair program. That's just my impression. It may not happen that quick, but certainly I would hope it start before the 27th.
Ideally, we would love for it to be, for the turnaround to be that quick, but to say the very next day after the item has been voted on.
Yeah, but we've been working on this. I mean, we knew we were going to do this program, so applications and that process, we should have been ready for it.
However, Mr. Mayor, there are concessions, as you can see, with the mental health program and things of that nature, that sometimes are made during these meetings. So, with that said, we wanted to make sure that the buffer was in place to make sure that we're protecting the integrity of the program, and we're not arbitrarily putting applications out that may have something commission voted on that needed an adjustment, and we didn't have time to make those adjustments to all of the applications, because we will have to print all of these applications. So for example, with the home improvement, it's 10 pages.
One, I have a comment.
So-
I myself think it's too far.
Did you finish? I was trying to let her finish. I was trying to hear what she was saying.
I agreed, I think it's 27th is too far out. I was hoping at least by Monday the residents should be at least able to come into the city hall and pick up the application. I think 27th is too far. That's another, what, 2 weeks? Or what is?
10 business days.
Yeah, if we can at least start it on Monday, if they can start coming in on Monday, I don't know what the window is, how long the window will be open, at least by Monday, I think they should be able to come in and get the application, fill it out and get it, because give them time to get the requirements, whether the requirements are, and to bring it back to the city.
And I doubt we're gonna be making any other recommendation changing that particular program.
Yes, we can do
Monday.
We want that to start.
Monday, I think it'll be best on
Just so you
I'm sorry.
understand calendar, President's Day is Monday,
Well,
so it's
Tuesday.
a holiday.
Yes, that's true.
So I'm just saying.
That's true.
So now, what about the run time? So from the time of the launch to 10 days. So are we talking 10 days, business days for the application period?
The
What
application
does
I
the-
know is about ready, so I think you should start Monday and give them the, what is it, 5 to
Tuesday.
10 day window, Tuesday, I'm sorry. Tuesday from what, 9 o'clock to whatever time they can start picking up applications.
So applications will be made available from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Tuesday is the 21st.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and just
So
let's
we
make
would
a
change.
big push to at least get the word out. A lot of people I know has been out there but saying, I didn't know. So we're just gonna make a big effort on behalf of the city to make sure as many people that we know to share this information with so they can start applying.
Yes, and we have, to your point, Mr. Mayor, we have residents that come in every day. We speak to them. We have residents that call. We speak to them, and we let them know as soon as the mayor and commission makes a decision, we roll the programs out. So Tuesday, we'll go ahead and
Also,
get the programs rolled out.
I want to let everyone know that we're talking about $5,000 for minor
household.
repairs, and it's only gonna be available for 40 people. So the first 40 people that apply and qualify are the ones that are gonna get the $5,000.
So let me
Up
provide.
to 5,000, so I don't know what that means.
So let me provide some clarification on that. Yes, it is, for now, it is first come, first serve. However, it's based upon your application being, yes. So you can be the first one to submit it, but if your application is incomplete, we would have to move on to the next person. And the qualifications will be listed. So when the announcement is posted, you'll be able to come to City Hall, get your packet, and then the packet has all of the qualifications that you would need to meet. There's a questionnaire, there's a formal application, there's documentation that you have to
Who's gonna review
do.
the application? Who's gonna review the application? I'm gonna let that.
So that'll be in the Department of Community and Economic Development.
Who is that? Cause we ain't got no finance director, we ain't got no.
We do have a finance director. We'll get to that.
What-
I'll answer that question for you. Anyway, going
But
forward.
the other question is too. See, y'all talking
Mr.
about
Love,
40 houses.
Mr.
There's
Love.
so many houses on Barfield Highway that need money. They need some of this ARPA money. We've been making that statement. Y'all gonna look at some of them people on Barfield Highway where cars and houses been taking all this dirt. Y'all should be looking there with some ARPA money. That way they should be looking at. People on Barfield Highway going through hell and know who's going to their houses.
Come on.
Y'all don't?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what y'all
so
should look
this
at,
says
Appreciate
up to
Appreciate it. I know.
$5,000.
Think about it.
So what,
What would get you up to the 5,000?
yeah, I mean, so let's say you need several things done in your house. And I read that you have to have, you have to get a quote, and that the quote has to be by a licensed, contractor or.
Commissioner, can we, that's resolution 4. Can we get through 3 and then go to 4? Since you're already on 4?
Well, the only issue that I have, I mean, you're talking about up to $5,000, and that only limits. Let's say if you do the 5,000, you're only gonna be able to help 40 people, and I don't know how many people own homes in Pahokee, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of them need repairs. Then my other issue is on rental and residential utilities and rental assistance. Up to $1,500, and you got 225,000, so that's 150 people. And, I mean, let's face it, there's not that many homes for rent. And another thing is, I don't know if you guys have been on the website, but some of the rent in Pahokee is like, you can't even rent a one-bedroom apartment for under $1,000. The 2 bedrooms, they're going for anywhere between $22,000 to $2,700. What the heck is that about?
So Mayor, can we look at the allocation then aspect of it? Since that's part of 3. So you guys think
You're just gonna prolong it again. Y'all keep talking about prolong it. You're just gonna prolong it again, cause they keep changing the amounts. I'm saying, cause if it changed the amount. No, I'm not mean no bad. Oh God, I can't even talk to you, miss. I'm just saying, it's gonna prolong it out farther in the months to get something, you know what I'm saying? We'll be trying to get it to you in this month, but it's gonna go over March, April, and May again.
Let's see if we can quickly get it done.
So is it the voice of the commission to move the 5,000 up a little more, or what?
No, we don't need to move it up anymore. That's lessening the number of people you can help. We're talking about moving it down, if any, to help a little more, or leave it where it's at.
How much money is it y'all trying to help 40 people? How much money is it? I can only count $200,000 if you get 40 people $5,000 a piece. I can count for 200,000. But y'all had 325,000 here one time. Now how it done got down to 200,000? 5,000 people, $5,000 for 40 people is only $200,000. Y'all add it up. And when you get through, come on back to me.
Mayor and Commission, I just want to remind you that the entire allocation for minor home repairs is $442,000. So that's the entire allocation. For this fiscal year, it's $200,000. For the following fiscal year, it's $242,000. So therefore, it is 40 households that we're assisting this fiscal year. The following fiscal year, there will be 40 plus households. In total, it will be 80 plus households that we would be assisting.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to just throw something out for you all's consideration. It may not be 40 households or 80 households because it's up to $5,000. So it may be that one household gets 1,000, another household gets 3,000, another one gets the max. And so the questions I think you want to maybe focus on is what kind of criteria will you be looking at if you wanted to dive deep into that. But really, it's up to $5,000, right?
And then on the criteria, I also passed that up here for the commission to look at the draft of the application itself for consideration, if there was anything that needed to be amended for resolution 04.
And just let me say this, the way that I reviewed it was with the application, so I was assuming that they were approving. I don't know if you have it with your packet, but I was assuming they were.
It's in the packet.
Okay, so you're approving the application with the whole, but that's the next item, right? Like the manager said, that's the next item. Right now, your issue is just whether you're approving the programs as set forth in this is the deferral, remember, from your last meeting.
And we want to make
Right.
sure we take care of it tonight. We don't want to defer it any longer. It's not going to be perfect the first round, but we're going to try to get near it. Any objection, I'll entertain a motion to actually approve the expenditure timeline as well as the amounts.
We have a motion already on amend that.
You know what? A motion on what?
We're
Resolution
looking at
2023-03.
at the same totals. It's the
She
same
said there
thing
was
that
a
we
motion
began
on
with.
2023.
What is that motion And what,
Well, it was for the resolution itself. You guys got into the discussion.
Oh,
for
when you first
resolution.
put it on the floor.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
now you're doing, you were right.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, so we already have a second, a motion and a second already on the floor.
But you
For
guys
the
want to
resolution.
change the start date, launch date. We want to go from 27th to the 21st.
Right, yes,
Correct?
right,
So
correct.
then, I was just trying to understand dollar amounts. So Commissioner Perez brings up the point about average rents now. So is it 1,500 or does that go up a little more is what you guys are suggesting?
No, I think it's fine where it
Yeah,
is.
yes,
You're fine? Okay, because we could, in this aspect, if a person isn't behind on their water bill, you know, we could go up to 500 on that, or for that max of 1,500 if it is rental assistance. So,
I'm happy with what it is, I just,
okay.
my only question was about the mental health part of it.
Any other requested revision? If not, we need to vote on this so we can move forward.
The,
Staff can tweak it a little,
Yeah.
but this is gonna be the butt of it.
and the mental health going from 150 to 300.
That's reasonable. That's my change. That's reasonable.
Okay, with those two amendments, we're good to
Yes, sir.
vote. Are you all ready for a vote?
Yes.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolden,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Authorizing the expenditure of funding in accordance with the approved budget of the state aid. So we're voting on this budget?
the resolution and attachment.
Because we got this, but this is not what's on here.
Mr. Mayor,
it's,
you're voting on the resolution, which includes the budget, but as a part of that, the manager is saying this is going to be his timeline. Technically, you're not voting on this, right? You're voting on the approved budget that goes with the resolution, and this is going to be the timeline that the manager is telling you he's going to do it on. So you've now made two amendments to this that were stated on the record, and that's what you're voting on right now.
And just state the two amendments,
Okay,
one word.
On this that we're voting, okay, we have, okay, you have the sheriff, you have the marina campground, city reimbursement COVID related shortfall. I don't see it on here. Delivery of eligible ARPA services in conjunction with the ARPA, in conjunction with a nonprofit. I don't see that here, so I'm voting on this, and this is just for timeline.
so the itemization that you've requested to happen every one of these programs. So on these dates, but we can change the dates to make it quicker. So you're
But
going to get your
it's not up to
itemization.
dates, because
Plus-
I mean,
plus I handed you-
I'm voting on, for instance, delivery of eligible ARPA services in conjunction with a nonprofit. That means that we're paying a nonprofit $100,000 to help the city disperse the money. Who's the nonprofit, and why are we paying a nonprofit to disperse the money?
Mr. Mayor, each one of these programs will come back to you all for a vote. So that's what you decided. Remember, you said at the
Nothing
last
gets
meeting,
spent.
you said at the last meeting that you did not want to give the manager the authority to not have things come back to you. So the resolution was amended so that it addressed that. So each one of these programs, the first program that will roll out will be the program that you have as the next item on your agenda. That's the first program. But each one of these will come back and you can critique them all, just like you have the next item tonight that you've been looking at, and then you'll be able to have the buy-in as to who the nonprofit would be and all of that. Right now, the only thing you're voting on is the overall plan that you asked for. You asked the manager to give you detail. He gave you a detailed itemization of what this all would, what the amount is and what each area would pay for. This is more detail than anything I've seen, right? And I've been doing this like a lot, but this is more detail than any other city I've seen so far. So right now, you're just voting on this exhibit overall, and then each individual program will come back to you for your vote. Does that make sense?
So tonight, you say we just vote on the overall expenditures, then we're gonna vote on the small minor repairs so we can get that started to the residents.
That's the next item, yes, ma'am.
Yes, so that's what we're doing tonight.
And then I've given all of you the breakdown of the marina, and that's 1.7 million. So we gotta go through saying docks D through F. We're gonna be able to tear into the things that you asked about.
Okay, and then I also saw that we're not up for legislation. So if we get it from the state, what's gonna happen to this money?
We can reappropriate monies as you guys see fit, as a collective group.
The money that, if we get it from them, we have to use it for what we said we're gonna use it.
For that, yes, but if,
So this money won't get spent on that.
depending on the timing, because I have to get to docks D, E, and F done.
Yeah, I know those three need to be done.
Exactly.
We're gonna get penalized.
So,
We're fine.
but I appreciate you working with us.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's move that on, if we can, if it's okay.
It was on her vote.
Huh?
It was on Commissioner Perez's vote.
Yeah, she was the last person to vote. She hasn't voted yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
Yes? She says yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes.
So for clarity, we're voting on Resolution 2023-03.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next resolution is Resolution 2023-04, City Attorney.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, approving a minor home repair program in connection with the American Rescue Act funds up to an amount of $200,000, providing for an effective date.
If there is a motion,
Mayor, I move to accept 2023-04.
Second.
it has been moved by Commissioner Bowden and second by Commissioner Gonzalez for the adoption of Resolution 2023-04. Call for question.
Yeah.
Commissioner Perez.
Talking about repair, replace roofing, gutters and fascia, not roof, right? Cause, $5,000 ain't gonna do it.
Right. Now, one of the things that moving forward we can look at is how we go about going after money at the state level. So with the DEO, as Mr. Doretta had mentioned, there's a whole pot of money that we qualify as a rural small community.
Yeah.
So right there, we can also look at doing major home repair through CDBG money that we can obtain $700,000 to $750,000, and then the average repair of a house could be $30,000 to $50,000 a pop.
Yeah, because, repair, replace windows and doors. To replace the windows now, they gotta be hurricane impact.
Impact, yes.
And each window, you're gonna pay $300 and above for a window, and that's a standard size window.
I agree. And I have, and one of the things in here is the legislative dollars that we're going after that needs approval.
That's a different issue.
No, I was just showing her that we can leverage, because that's her concern, because she's trying to reach out to all the constituents. I get it.
Okay. Any additional questions or recommended amendments to this? Now, we want to try to move it on. Hearing none, are y'all ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bolden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
So this means, this the day also that we'll vote on that on Tuesday, that residents can come and pick up applications. We're doing all that with this resolution, everything be ready to go on Tuesday.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Are they gonna be required to pull a permit?
They have to.
Well, it depends on what it is. I
That's
mean,
through the contractor.
Depends on what aspect of their home they're trying to fix. So if it's say a furnace or say it's the AC, then that's HVAC, yes, you would have to pull a permit.
And I think the contractor would do that.
Yeah, so that's through the contractor. Any of, anything
Yeah,
that
I
has,
know.
yeah, the contractor
Because it
would
says
have to do it.
handymans.
But they'll be licensed. If you read the requirement, they have to be licensed.
Yes, and they would have to produce.
Handymans are not licensed.
Some of them are. Some of them have a city license. I have one coming up, they have a city license.
Yeah, city license.
Then they can work in the city.
But they're not
Mr. Mayor,
certified.
Mr. Mayor, you need
The word certified.
a motion to extend the meeting. You've gone past the date, the time that you're supposed to be.
No, we went up to 10.
Okay. This, in this version of the ordinance, we'll need to change that as well because it still says 9, so if that's what,
Yeah, we voted on
Okay.
extending it up to
Okay.
10. That
We'll-
mean we wasn't trying to shoot for 9, but
Okay.
it didn't prevent us from continuing.
we'll put it in make sure it gets in the next draft of the rules. Thank you.
Okay.
10 p.m.
One amendment I can consider is maybe reducing the cost to the resident for the permit. Maybe cut it in half, so at least that portion of money could be added to the actual improvement. We can serve that guideline if we wanted to.
I mean, that's just so low, we could just waive it, if it's so low.
What if the resident don't have no money to get it? What do you do then? What do you do then?
The contractor obtains, just for clarification's sake, Mr. Mayor, the contractor obtains the permit on behalf of the client they're rendering services to.
I know it, but it comes out of, we're charging, so it's gonna come out of the total.
So that's where the city could entertain whatever the fee reduction that you were talking about.
What is
So
the
if
permit now?
Mr. Lucas
Yeah,
or,
what does it cost for a permit, or does it
Like
depend on what you
$100.
Permit is based on the amount of the repair.
Oh, the type of work.
You know, so the type of work and then that dollar amount is times whenever that
Is
fee.
it a percentage?
Sometimes it's a percentage, yes.
I mean, it depends on the repair, but how do you, let's say if my repairs are $5,000, how do you figure out what my permit amount's gonna be?
well, it's based
What
off
is
of
the
the
math?
work.
What is the math that you come out to the cost of the permit?
All right, I just have to bring that back because you're just throwing out arbitrarily this or that. So a lot of times it's in the system of the calculation.
Yeah, there has to be a calculation, that's why I'm
Okay,
asking.
that shouldn't
Well,
interfere
we
with
don't have a
us.
problem.
Yeah, it's based on the work.
We don't have a problem waiving or giving whatever consideration, but we gotta look at,
Okay,
we can waive it, no problem.
No, there's no, you have to bring it back, and it has to be an ordinance, and the commission has to approve it or give you the authority to waive it. Right now, the price is whatever it is. It's based on what you've already approved as another ordinance as your fee structure. So if you want to bring it back, that's something we can look
Okay.
at, or maybe for purposes of the program, you could pass or amend the ordinance to allow the manager to, waive a certain amount, but that's not this item right now.
Okay. Are you ready for a vote?
Mayor Barrett, Point of order, can we clearly state the motion with any amendments that you guys want, just for the sake of the minutes?
Okay, this one didn't have a particular amendment, but we are requesting the city manager bring back a
Okay.
calculation or some type of ordinance that would allow for waiving the permit, so it wouldn't affect this
Okay.
particular order as an amendment.
Okay, so the last person left off on is Commissioner Perez for the vote.
What was that?
For the vote, so voting on resolution 2023-04.
I thought we already voted on this.
Mervin said yes, and the last person that left off on was Commissioner Perez. I could start over if you guys would like me to.
It's okay. It's to pass so that we could start the minor repairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Mayor Bab.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Clerk. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we move to the next resolution, which would be Resolution 2023-05.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing an emergency agreement with Resource Group of North America, Inc. for legislative lobbying services, providing for an effective date.
City Manager, could you give us an explanation?
Just 1 second, gotta get my pages right. Staff is seeking an emergency extension on behalf of Resource Group, Inc. Historically, the city of Pahokee has used Resource Group for governmental consulting services and extended the agreement with Resource Group last August.
This is not an extension.
Pardon?
It's not an
Page
extension.
70.
I keep saying that. It's an emergency
Page 70.
service that you're trying to get. It's not an
70.
extension.
Okay, so,
Do you want me to present it?
sure.
Okay. Yeah, Commissioners,
And the cap in that, okay.
yeah, this is a, you all are going to Tallahassee pretty soon, and you need lobbying services. As it stands right now, there is no current contract with the lobbyists, and so this provision would allow for you to have emergency lobbying services so that you can have your meetings set up so that the lobbyist can register properly, so that he can do all of those things that will help you all to hopefully obtain funding. And this is for a limited period of time to start on March 1st and go through March 31st. To allow general services. Now, the lobbyist has had a contract with the city in the past, and it will be on those same terms and conditions as that previous contract. I think Mr. Lucas had asked you for it, and we can, if you allow us to, as a part of the resolution, to enter into an agreement on the same terms and conditions. That's what the resolution calls for. Okay?
So this is only for a period of 1 month?
This is for a period of 1 month because currently you have no contract. So as it stands, the contract expired. So it's not really extending a contract because you don't have a contract to extend. So right now you're doing a month contract, and then the manager can then do a procurement or something else that will allow for you to consider lobbying services. That's why you're doing it on an emergency basis, because you don't have anything in place.
Okay with that?
Yes.
We've got to go through session, so it doesn't make sense in 1 month. Tried to make it better for the citizens of Pahokee. And we've worked and we got major things done in the marina a few years back. Once we sit down where we've got some consistency, we can go for bigger dollars for Pahokee. But it takes all of us to work together. You do realize that everything that went on tonight's meeting, Tallahassee already knows about it. Because they have been viewing this meeting. They've been viewing the meetings in Pahokee for a long time.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do is just bring the image up so that we're consistent with good management. You've got a good city manager. We need to work through it. We need to be able to get you the funds we can, but every time we try to get funds and there's some confusion what's going on at the dais, then Senator Harrell will turn around and say to us, why should we help Pahokee? We should help Pahokee because they need the help. They need the help.
Track, which provides general city attorney services, is causing.
No, 2023-06 is a resolution of the city of Pahokee adopting the city of Pahokee's priority list.
Okay, there are two resolutions that have an 06. And so that's the issue. So let me go back, Ms. Toshiba, if you can have a seat for a second.
Torsivia.
And we're gonna.
Torsivia.
Torsivia, thank you.
Civia. Like civic.
Right,
she skipped. Yeah.
I'm looking at the resolution, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you skipped
This is a
it.
legislative, so it's just, okay.
Yeah, she's just.
Should be 2023-07.
No, she's at
It's
6.
06.
No,
It's just that when you look at the actual items, there are two that end in 06.
It's not,
Okay.
I'm looking at it.
Okay, so,
One is 2022.
2022, Resolution 2023-06, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee.
She's right.
2022 is the year 2022.
2023-06.
It should be 7.
2023-06.
No, it shouldn't be.
2023-06.
If you look at the actual item, and I'm just making it clear for the record. If you look at the actual item in the packet, not the agenda, but there are two items that end in 06, and so that's the issue. But let me read the 2023-06 into the record. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, adopting the City of Pahokee's 2023 State Legislative Priority List attached hereto as Exhibit A, authorizing the city manager to take necessary action to carry out the aims of this resolution, providing for an effective date.
See? That's what she's saying. Okay, so, Mayor, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I didn't see anything.
Do you want him to explain?
You want me to explain?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, what we did here is staff, in listening to commissioners and the citizens of Pahokee, we came up with a priority ranking. It's not in any particular order of 1 through 10, but I'll just read the highlights of it. City of Pahokee Marina Improvements, $2 million. City of Pahokee Campground Repairs and Acquisition of 3 Cabins, $1 million. City of Pahokee Infrastructure, $15 million. City of Pahokee Clean Out East Lake Village Canal Wall Fencing, $300,000. City of Pahokee Skate and BMX Bike Park and new splash pad at Commissioners Park, $900,000. City of Pahokee DeMonkey Martin Luther King Jr. and Glade Citizen Villa Parks, $2 million. City of Pahokee Cemetery Beautification of Park and Software Update, $80,000. City of Pahokee 3 entranceway signs and digital marquee plus 4 park signages, $150,000. City of Pahokee City Hall Museum renovation, $4.5 million.
The list you read, what was it?
This was the City of Pahokee 2023 Legislative Request Priority Ranking that we would like to pass on to our lobbyists. Yes, sir.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. And then the live is actually requesting that we trim this down to maybe 1 or 2 or 3.
He says he's going after a couple things from that list.
But we need to direct him in which 2 or 3 things, additional things we want to shoot for. I mean, he's not gonna take this list and decide on his own, is he? Or we gonna do this as a group? How we gonna proceed?
He's already looking at the things on this list, and he's saying matching up the 18 million that's out there, he's telling us about. There's another pot of money he's telling us about, because I've been in correspondence with him.
I'm so sorry, I didn't see the number.
Okay.
Here, just try to grab it.
Okay.
It's infrastructure and economic development. That's what's out there for the rural area.
No, I don't have that.
What happened, I got an agenda for her. This is, okay, thank you. Okay.
Fixing the number. Fixing the number.
Commission, can we get a motion to entertain that motion for the passage
What
of
is
this?
it? I don't understand.
This is a
what
list
we're
of
voting on.
the 2023 legislative priority list.
So these are just to ask, what we're asking
To
for.
allow is for them to ask for funding for these projects. However, the lobby said earlier that we should limit, we got a list of about 12 items look like on here. He's saying we should limit that to maybe 2 or 3 at the most. So we just have to decide at some point which one we
A
would
lot of
like
these is
them
infrastructure, so
to
they'll cover
actually,
some of these.
see if we get funding.
Some of it, they'll cover this bad, but they'll,
That's the DEO.
yeah, a lot of this is infrastructure.
What's available?
Economic development,
Let it
what
ask.
on here is gonna
All you can say is
develop
yes or
our
no.
economy. Those are the things that we need to, focus on, because it's the thing that the money's out there, and it's, in reality, what we most likely be able to get. We definitely need infrastructure.
We need them all, to be honest, but which 3 are we gonna look at?
You have more than 3 infrastructure. I'm like, Sarah, let's leave them on here, and you know, and most of them are infrastructure. And they got $81 million.
I think we need to go after all of them, but I'm just telling you what the lobby is saying, that it would be a wise idea to try to.
We're not gonna get the money for all of them.
Okay.
But you can
And
put
what
it
he's
through.
trying to say is that the money right now, there's $18 million out there for rural area, for infrastructure and economic development.
So I think
We need to hit the infrastructure, because infrastructure, you're talking about roads, you're talking
Streets.
about sewage, you're talking
Marina.
about drainage, you're talking about all that
Deluxe.
stuff that we need. We're
Okay,
gonna attract
We
businesses.
have a resolution, let's go ahead and approve the list then. Just entertain a motion for the adoption of this list.
Mayor Bab, I move to accept 2023-06.
It has been moved by Commissioner Bolden and properly seconded by Commissioner Gonzalez that we accept and approve the 2023 legislative priority list as presented by our city manager. Call for questions. Hearing none, you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Well, I ain't even get to ask questions.
I'm sorry, you can ask a question if you are moving.
It's almost there.
Like, skate and BMX bike park. When did that come up?
Some people have inquired about doing a BMX park.
We inquired about doing the pool. So where did the pool go? Now it's to the curbside, now we have a bike path and BMX bike park. Where are we gonna do that at?
Well, I just understand a closed mouth don't get fed, so if we don't ask what we need, how we gonna get fed?
I'm gonna say this, Barfield Highway, them people need some money for their houses. Barfield Highway, y'all need to help them people out with some awesome money. Cause every house on Barfield Highway is going down. It's going down. Go down there and look. I'm just going
Okay,
out there, not so
you,
you have to put me out, Keith. Y'all go to Barfield Highway
addressing
and
that
look on
question real
Barfield
quick so
Highway.
we can move. We
When
got
y'all
10
get ready to
minutes
get
and we have to
some
end.
money, get some money out to those people on Barfield Highway, please. Y'all have a good night. Happy Valentine's Day. I left my wife home by her damn self cover here. Ain't that something? She ain't mad though.
Yeah,
So we're aware we got 9 minutes and we're gonna be adjourned.
like where we put in this BMX?
Where that two-story house was at? Barfield, Bacon Point Road.
I mean, I'm a commissioner and stuff comes up here, stuff that I'm asking for and I've been, advocating for is not here. And now there's things that pop up that I don't know anything about, you know. Skate and BMX bike park. Who came up with that one? Whose idea was that?
The people in our community have talked about this.
What people? Somebody came to you and told you about this. One of us did. Who was it? Come on, Mr. Lucas, you work for all 5
You
of us.
fussed at me for saying
You work
anything.
for all
You
5
have
of
said,
us.
you have said, don't
Okay,
discuss
where
my
on
stuff.
here, where on here is anything that I asked for this city? Where on here? And you work for me too, I'm one of the commissioners. Where on here? Because you listen to everybody else.
No, Commissioner.
I tell you this all the time.
Commissioner.
It doesn't matter to me, but I have things that I would like for the city, that I've been advocating
So when we
for
start
the city.
working with Habitat for Humanity, then the guy gets canned. So, I mean, okay, then there were some other things.
What are you talking
Mr.
about?
Mr. Gates no longer with Habitat. When you had talked about let's go forward with Habitat and infill housing, one example of some of the things we talked about.
Is that guy the only guy in Habitat? Because we never did get a meeting. We
I
never
know,
did
because he didn't last long.
We got 6 minutes, 6, 7.
But I have no problem with helping getting your agenda out, ma'am.
I'm gonna go on the record, Commissioner, just so you know, I don't have anything on my priority that's been put on here, and I feel left out a lot, so don't think it's only you. I'm quite sure it's not, so that's just my.
To tell you the truth, I don't even know why I'm a commissioner. I really don't. I really
Okay,
don't.
so we got priority list. Let's vote. You ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
No.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Motion passed by a majority for 1 vote. Now we may be able to get one more resolution in, and we're going to try the next resolution, which is Resolution 2023-07.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing a special counsel agreement with TG Law PLLC for special counsel services in connection with ARPA Legal Consulting Services and work involving a central business district overlay for the City of Pahokee, providing for an effective date. This is brought forward by me, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, because it has become with an existing contract that was created around the time that I came in and executed. I think it is making it very difficult because the contract that is existing with this law firm has things in it that I do as the city attorney, and so I want to make it very clear that that contract will be terminated, and furthermore, we will, as an as-needed basis, these are the things that have been set forth by the managers, things that he is already working on with, and you all know about the ARPA issue and also about the manager has made me aware recently that he's also been working with the law firm on something dealing with an overlay area, which I'm going to meet with my staff and the manager and try to get a better idea of what that is exactly and what we need to do to work with. I don't have any problem working with the law firm, but special counsel, and we work with special counsel in other cities. The way it works is they work through the city attorney. It's not directly working with the client. I am the city attorney. That's what you all have hired me to do. I pay a flat fee to do, you pay a flat fee for me to do that every month. But when I don't know what work is being put out or how it conflicts with what I'm doing, and I have to actually sign off on it at the end of the day, I cannot be in a position like that. And so I'm asking that you pass this resolution, which will allow me to properly service you. That's all I have.
If I may, Mayor, I respectfully disagree. The commission approved the contract. It is a contract for attorney. At the meeting where you were appointed, there was a specific discussion. I pulled the minutes up. So, and the mayor discussed having Ms. Torsivia, that's me, be retained as an attorney for special assignments or consulting. Though that's the work that I've been doing. My agreement is with the commission, and the commission does have the right under the ordinances, under section 2-84, to employ special counsel other than the city attorney. While certainly the city attorney does as well, I do believe that this is an invasion of the purview of the commission and an attempt to invalidate a contract that they approved unanimously.
Well, I can go through the contract if I need to. I'm not going to be in a, going back and forth with an attorney that's not the city attorney. I am the city attorney. I've been hired to do that by a majority vote of this commission. I want to be able to do my job. I'm happy to work with this attorney. We've had some conversations in the past. She was hired to do ARPA stuff. That is not specialized work. That's what, everything that you saw on this agenda pertaining to the previous item dealing with the home repair, that's all stuff that I helped to draft. South Bay used it. We used it here. It's pretty much what I did in another city in Broward. Okay, so this is not specialized work, but I'm happy to work with this firm. I'm happy to do it. You all need to say and set forth, allow me to enter into an agreement, tell me what you want to pay for an hourly rate, and allow this attorney to work with me to do this. But we cannot be in a position where my work is conflicting with what is being asked to do. Mr. Lucas had talked to Ms. Toshivia, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, about an overlay issue. My firm does that. It's not specialized work, but we're happy to work with her to do that. But we have to be able to work with her, and we have to be able to work with her through our office so that we're all on the same page. Because again, I sign off on this. So, I'm not wanting to be in a position where I don't know what another attorney is doing with the city, with my client. Yes, sir.
So are you just asking that whatever takes place with this attorney, that it goes through you, that you need to just be abreast on everything?
Absolutely, which is a part of this resolution. Yes, sir.
I'm happy to do that.
Be employed by her.
No, it's not employed by me. No. She's employed pursuant to the provision in the ordinance. There's a section 2-84 of the City of Pahokee's ordinance which governs the process for securing special counsel. So, but what I'm asking for is that, which is a logical thing, which is done in every city where a special counsel is hired. They work with the city attorney. They're not working with the.
Secure by you, doesn't it mean that she's at your will, that you can hire and fire?
I never said secured by me. She's secured under this provision, by the city, through this resolution.
That's what she is right now.
Right, but that would be.
She has a contract.
Right, she would be working with me. What I'm telling you is the contract that was signed even before I came, I'm not signed, but that was created even before I was hired. It conflicts with my contract. I have to be allowed, in all kinds of ways.
How does it conflict?
Well, it requires her to attend all meetings of the city commission. There's no need for her to attend all meetings of the city. You want to pay her $200 and $300 an hour for her to come to meetings of the city commission for nothing? That's what the contract says. It says that she will attend.
Previous contract, which was never amended or changed in any form or
That's
fashion.
the contract we were gonna hire her permanent.
Right.
No, you weren't. There was never any discussion about hiring her permanently.
The way that we hired her was as a contract, wasn't it?
I'm happy to amend the existing contract, although candidly, we have orally amended it at that meeting, where the mayor asked me to only do special work.
There's no oral amendment of a contract that's signed.
I'm happy to do an amendment.
So let me just say this. I'm asking you all to approve the resolution to allow me to work with her on specialized things that the manager specifically requested, because he's been doing that already. So I'm happy to do that. I'm going to do it respectfully. I'm going to work with her collaboratively, but I have to be able to do it in a way that I understand what's going on. So I think it's a logical request.
What was the reason
So that's the
that-
amendment,
that
right?
you
That's the same
had-
as the
that
amendment,
you
what she's
used
asking.
vacuum instead of,
So initially, staff had reached out to Gemma and she interacted with us. And we just happened to be in the fire of that situation at 179 Cypress. And she stepped up to the plate.
No, it's no step up to the plate. I simply didn't know anything about it. And so that's the issue. I stepped up to the plate when I went to the special, when I went to the special magistrate meeting the other day, and I helped to resolve the issue, and there's likely that it will be the building, I'm sorry, that's a different issue. But no, if I don't know about an issue, that's a problem. I'm the city attorney, so I should not be sitting in a whole meeting where people are talking about it and this discussion going back and forth, and I don't even know what is being discussed. That should never happen, period.
Even you, Commissioner Perez, had made a comment, why are we hiring her or having her when we're using another attorney? Why not use other attorney? It causing a conflict. It's clearly eerie. So
You don't even know what you're paying her.
I would support this. I think initially
I
we
know what we're
wanted
paying you.
specialized service, things that our attorney wouldn't be able to handle or wouldn't specialize in. And we went above and beyond that. There's been at least 3 other items that she has been asked to do. Initially, that should have even came to the commission and say, you know, this is what I need to use our attorney for, the second attorney, and bring that before us, which it didn't come to us like that. So I think it's a conflict. I think this resolution would probably resolve that, and she would still have an opportunity if the attorney here sees a need for some assistance in working on certain projects or activities. You don't
understand
need
why, I mean, I still don't understand why it's a conflict. She's the city attorney and she's the attorney that, is contracted, so whenever we need special counsel or whatever, it was hired by us, and we're the ones that are supposed to do it. So why do we want to relinquish that power and give it to the city attorney?
But that's not what you're doing.
Yes, we
No,
are.
it's not.
Yes,
You know what?
we
You're
are.
not going to agree no matter what I say. So
Yeah.
I'm just asking if we could move forward. I'm asking for passage of the resolution.
Let's see if we get a motion on it, and then we can discuss it if we get a second.
Mayor, I move that we would, is it Resolution 2022-06, would that be the resolution since it was done in 2022?
I think it's 2023-07.
Oh, so it's 2023-07. I make a resolution that we will move with Resolution 2023-07 for discussion.
Is there a second?
I just want to be clear.
You got a second first before you ask question.
I'll second.
Call for question, Commissioner Bowden.
I just want to be clear. What does accepting this do in terms of our relationship to the both of you?
It allows her to work on the ARPA issue that you all wanted her to work, the manager wanted her to work on, so she'll be working on the ARPA.
For the record, the mayor suggested.
All right. Okay,
Don't
so,
put me in the middle like
okay,
that.
no problem. So the issues, the things that you all have on this list right here, I worked on the minor home repair, so that's done. So what I will be doing is working with her on creating a program, a legal program for the residential utilities, the behavioral health, the job workforce. So we'll come back with each one of those, and I will talk to her about these and working with the manager to create a program that comes before you all, okay? So that's what that would do. In addition to that, there's also an overlay issue that once my firm comes up to date, we have a person who just deals with land use in my firm, right? So we'll find out what she has been communicating with the manager about. We'll get up to speed on that, and we will work with her on that overlay issue. And so those are the two things that special counsel work that she will be working on for the city.
So what is the difference from what it is right now to how you want to make it?
Right now, it's just
You want
cause.
to be the boss and you want her to
No,
work?
right now, I don't know what's happening all the time, and it will prevent things that I don't know. What I'm asking for is totally reasonable. That's how it works in every single city where a special legal counsel is hired by the city. They work with the city attorney. That's what I'm asking for. Right now, I can go through a whole other list of other stuff, but they're all conflicts.
The contract that she has right now?
Yeah, it conflicts with my contract.
The contract that she has right now,
It conflicts with my contract.
What will happen to her contract?
It goes away. It will be terminated.
Away.
Yes,
So
and then you're not getting. But you're saying what's not true. You're not getting rid of her. You're allowing the provision in the current ordinance to be affected in terms of how you will
For her to work with you.
For her to work with me.
Yeah.
That's right.
She has to work with you.
Respectfully, Mr. Mayor, if I may,
Yeah.
Ms. Norris Weeks, I'm very accessible. I reached out to you. I advised you that we could speak Monday. At no point did you propose an alternate
I
agreement.
reached out to you last week, and you said the only time you could talk to me was Monday. I had already put together the resolution. I was calling you to talk about it. But the bottom line is, I'm bringing this to my commission. These are the people I work for. I'm asking you all to please approve the resolution so that I can then continue. We can talk after the meeting, but I cannot work where things are being done and I don't even know they're being done, and I don't even get copied on it, and I'm like surprised and sitting through whole meetings not even knowing what y'all are talking about. That's ridiculous.
And then
that can't happen.
with respect, Mayor, also respect to Ms. Gemma, that once it worked out, if it worked that way, she doesn't know about it, but her signature has to be the one to go on
Exactly.
it. Because she's the city attorney. Ms. Gemma can put it together, but it still have to come before her to sign it, because you can't. So you wouldn't even sign, or I wouldn't even sign anything.
It's nothing that she don't know about.
No, what I'm.
She sees it before she signs it.
No, what I'm saying.
It's the same thing as her working under her.
That's what we're trying to say, for the work together with it, because it has to come before her to sign it. But she was saying there was some stuff came previous. She didn't even know anything about it. But if it would have came to us, it probably could have been done right, but it came to us, she still had to be the one to sign it.
Here's my.
She
worked it.
If I may, I'm happy to provide regular updates to Ms. Weeks. Ms.
I
Weeks,
don't
when you
need-
reached
I don't
out to
need
me,
updates.
you did not ask.
I
You did
didn't
not
even know
say
you were
anything about a
working on anything
resolution.
else.
You were provided an email
you know
that
what?
advised a contract that the manager proposed
this
that
was
you
just
draw
last
up
week. This
for
was
3
last
items.
week.
Man, we don't need this at
This was last
the
week.
at
I
the
even
meeting.
knew about a contract.
This is what we're gonna do.
I still have to say
We have a
something.
motion and a second. Let's
still have
take
to
it
say,
before a vote.
I still have something to say. Based on my experience with Bernadette Weeks, and as y'all know, we're always getting our agendas late, okay?
Oh,
She's
that's
not
my
doing her
fault?
part.
Well, you clearly don't know what's going on behind the scenes then. Okay, I'm not the reason you're getting agendas late.
She's always turning everything on time?
Yeah.
For clarity?
He didn't know that one.
Sir,
Okay.
listen, we
Okay,
don't even want to
Well,
go.
I do have a question. Why do we get our agendas late? Why did we get this agenda Friday night after 10 o'clock?
Well, Commissioner Perez, you know, when we was
Why?
up in there,
We're
you know,
always,
the internet was down up until
We're supposed to
Thursday.
get it at least 5 days ahead of the meeting. We're supposed to.
Were you not in Washington when they said
Why do we always get it on Friday
Your-
night or Saturday?
Your
Why?
city manager is responsible for the agenda, so let's move.
I'm
this.
asking him why.
This is not the topic we're talking about right now. You can ask that a little later, but let's take care of this and move.
No, I want to know because I've heard different things, so I want to know why.
Same here. People need to be very honest and just say what they have, when they have the chance to say right now, say it out in the open.
No,
Get it out of the way.
So this week, while we were out of town, City Hall phones and internet was down from, I guess, apparently Sunday, all the way until Thursday when we got back in town. Then we still had a hiccup the next day. So there was periods of time, even when I was away. I had mentioned to you guys that I'm having internet stuff. I
Mr.
can't even
Lucas,
get it.
I know you're trying to do that,
Well,
and
let's
I
get out of
appreciate that,
All right.
but we have a cutoff time.
That's why I was late.
And I just want to make sure we get this
This
vote
time.
out. If we
This
can.
time, yes, ma'am.
City attorney, city clerk, roll call, man.
All I do is,
Vice
I
Mayor
like to
Murphy?
her just instead.
It's time to go.
She didn't hear.
Vice Mayor Murphy?
We vote.
Yes.
No, it's open.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Nope.
Commissioner Perez?
No.
Mayor Bab?
Yes, motion passed by a majority of 3-2 vote. Thank you. I'll entertain a meeting to adjourn our meeting.
Mayor, can I make one
continue
announcement for
whatever
the
topics
community?
At our next commission meeting, huh?
Just a one community announcement. There's gonna be a meet and greet in Belglade at the West Tech for the Meet Ryan Homes and companies building the brand new housing community of Hillsborough. It states they're asking for anyone that has skill. They are hiring any contractors that have skills that would like to have a job. And that's on February the 23rd from 6 to 7:30.
Can I get a motion for the adjournment?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion has been made and seconded. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry, I didn't, motion by Vice Mayor Murphy and who else?
And
Who second?
by Bowden.
Okay. Vice Mayor Mervin?
Yes.
Commissioner Bowden?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez? Commissioner Perez?
Yeah.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Motion passed, meeting adjourned.